Oh,
I was grooving. All right, what's up, my good people? We are back with another episode. I'm Grizz. It's my co-host Guru, and we got a special episode today. We have two special guests. We have Alan Martin and Lawrence Wright from Ronin Kinetic Entertainment, and we're going to be talking about paintball tech. We're also going to be talking about their absolute amazing app that they have that they got going for their next big game, which I think is the pirate game. And we're thinking about going to it, but we're going to talk about so much more. So let me get them on right now. All right, fellas, tell us a little bit about yourselves so everybody know who you are.
You go ahead, Lawrence. Lawrence has gone deaf. I don't even hear his mic.
No.
He's talking to somebody laughing.
Oh, no.
Lawrence, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
You can go first. You're more accomplished than I am at paintball.
Yeah, whatever. I guess. So what do you guys want to know? You want to know my playing? You want to know producing? Because I've kind of done all of it. I've wrote for magazines. I mean,
if we sat here and did his credentials, it's going to take too long. He did magazines. He produced paintball. He produced airsoft. What's your win-loss record as a commander?
Hold on. Commander's 29-2 as a commander, 30-1 as an XO.
I mean, I guess we can keep it at a minimum.
Right. Yeah, not a problem. So, I mean, I started playing in 99. I've played exclusively scenario paintball. I'm of the Wayne Dalek lineage. So, I know that there's lots of different scenario groups around the country that weren't really connected because they didn't have internet like now. And so even though I played all over the country, a lot of the people followed from Wayne Dalek. So you've got Viper and MXS and Ben Torricelli and Spiro. All these guys played Wayne Dalek games, and then as they became producers, they still played that style. So I've come from a 24-hour game where you had night play, night vision. A traditional 26-hour game of the time would have run at least until 3 to 3:30 in the morning, and then it would have been back on by 9 o'clock. It would have played till at least either noon or 2. So you generally had like 18 to 19 hours of game in the game that you were playing over the weekend. Correct. But it didn't have some of the modern stuff you see. You don't see a Friday battle royale. You might see like a Friday crazy party. Yeah. Like they're too new to know paint. They're too new to know Paint Club 21. Yeah, we'll do that story later. But that's 21. There has been Paintball 21 enough games. Well, Friday night was normally a party, and you had teams that were known. So a lot of the things are teams back in those days, and I say that was the 2000s. Really, teams took kind of pride in bringing something to the community. So on Friday night, you'd have a team like Odyssey. They were from Louisiana, so they cooked gumbo. You knew they were going to have gumbo. They always made more than enough gumbo so that people would come by and eat and all of that. Of course, being in Texas, people made brisket. And so it was just kind of like a big party, but not a party where everybody gets
drunk. Now that's the Saturday night party.
Right.
People do the Friday night party on Saturday night instead of playing Saturday night to Sunday now.
Right.
That's your fundamental difference between old times and modern times.
For the most part.
As far as partying goes.
Well, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. We drank.
Well, just how the event's scheduled. I mean, they partied hard until a 2 a.m. cutoff before the game, and then staggered out, probably still drunk, to start playing at noon.
No, because Viper got really particular about that after the T-Rev game.
Well, okay, doesn't matter.
I mean, for the longest time, again, like I tell people,
alcohol got banned for a long time.
Yeah, I don't really like to play paintball with people that drink. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't care. I'm not a prude. I drink. But I don't drink and engage in activities because I piss people off sober.
Oh, so you got that naturally. What you're saying, you just got that naturally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's a former Marine, and his specialty. So here's the problem. His specialty in the Marine was being OPFOR. Mm-hmm. So he would just go in training and then kick the shit out of all kinds of people and then get punished for winning. Right. So when he came to scenario paintball, you're going against a trained Marine OPFOR, and you're like me. You're like a guy who works on servers and shit.
Or me, same guy, right?
Yeah, you get your ass handed to you, and then it made a lot of people mad over time. So Lawrence doesn't really play anymore.
No, I retired.
All right, that's fair. There was a whole petition that said we're not going to show up if he shows up.
Right.
because he keeps beating us up, and we're not going to give you money anymore. So Lawrence doesn't really play anymore, and that's how his paintball career ended.
Right. Okay. Before we get further into that, Alan, give us a little bit about who you are then.
I started in '97 in high school. Viper produced games in Houston. I wasn't far from the games. I immediately started playing, reffing, and then was recruited onto a staff writer, making character cards and coming up with game ideas like the real-time strategy format he ran for a while, which was a way more advanced territory control you see than just slapsticks, because it's like that slapstick is that kind of building which activates this kind of guy for your people. So it had all kinds of structures built in. And another person named it's not Alan Carlson, it's the other Carlson. God damn it, I can't remember.
No, Alan Carlson, Shadowfire.
Oh, it is Alan Carlson, yeah.
Yeah, Shadowfire.
He wrote some awesome Windows-based software, but it didn't have any network connectivity.
Excel-based.
It was Excel. No, he did one in VB. It was all Visual Basic. It had an awesome front end.
Right.
But it had no network connectivity. And God, back in the day, I was offered by Viber. I was told, if you can make me this software that runs and does everything I do, you're going to play so much free paintball, which to a younger person, that sounds great. But once you're older, you're like, I don't think it's going to work like that.
Right.
Yeah. And I left paintball mostly to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, competitive grappling, and then a car accident kind of made that a lot less fun and a lot more painful. Okay. And then after that, I had built drones because I needed drones for a scenario game because I want to know everything that's going on. I'm not looking to go there and beat you one-on-one at paintball. I want you to never have a chance. I want you to not be able to make it on the field. I want you to mentally break and go to the parking lot. And I've won. I've had an awesome fucking weekend. Yep. You're going to be fucking upset, but I'm not. I'm having a jolly old time.
Yep.
Like, this is what I paid to come to do. So
everybody on our side is going to have a good time. Now, the other side's not, but
they're going to have a terrible time.
Everybody
on our side is going to have a blast. Rule changes. There's going to be a lot of rule changes. We cause so many rule changes, it's not even funny. Like, all the Living Legends rules you play now exist because people mentally broke commanders along the way doing stuff.
Well, I was the XO for the first Living Legends, and there weren't 10 XOs. There was the commander. And both commanders were celebrity commanders, meaning the commander of my commander was Sean Scott, who was from Smart Parts.
What year was the first Legends?
The first one would have been in 2009.
Now, before that was Shatner Ball, and Lawrence also was all balls deep in the Shatner Ball games.
No, actually, I was balls deep in William Shatner because I shot him in his nuts and laughed when he puked in his mask.
That's awesome. Okay.
But he deserved it.
He deserved every bit of it.
You don't try to charge your babysitter for an autograph.
No,
somebody's got paid to babysit you. You don't like, you pay me for this autograph. You shoot him in the dick. That's my theory.
Right. Well, that's the story.
Doesn't matter. We're going to move on. William Shatner got busted in the dick.
Hold on. But the reason why is this. You guys understand respect. And you can be big over here all you want. But when you come into somebody else's house, you got to show respect. And if you disrespect somebody that's known in this thing and you just come in, and even if you don't know it, you get what you get. And then when you steady disrespect and people are saying, look, you don't
Lawrence, everybody knows. See, this is the thing. Lawrence is long-winded. Everybody knows how prison rules operates. And Lawrence plays paintball by prison rules.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the guy that when you show up on the court.
If you watch like 60 Days In, Lawrence is the dude like, I run this pod. This is how everybody behaves.
You know,
what Lawrence is saying is on the basketball court, me and Lawrence would have been alphas. We'd have been looking at each other like, oh, yeah, you the one I'm coming after.
Yeah,
you'd enjoy the games. There's people that enjoyed the games, and there's people that hated the games. And when it came time for me and Viper, let me get back to my little story real quick. It came time for me and for Viper's business to break between having these hyper-competitive players that needed to be in their own little pool to kill each other, and these people that want to show up and have fun with their kids. Drink, have just a plain old game, go out. It doesn't really matter who wins. Nobody's going to take it that seriously. And then have a second business where everybody's super competitive and they're all out to kill each other and play to win. It's going to be smaller. There's not going to be that much more money involved. Viper wanted no part of that. He said, that's just going to take money out of my pocket. So after working for him for years, he wanted no part of me doing that. And that's where we had our falling out. And I went my own separate ways. And that's when I got into building the drones to win the games. And in about 2007, we had the first version of any type of software that we use now, which used Google Chrome on phones, and it used a component called Google Gears, which lets you share your GPS.
No, that was 2009.
Through the web browser. 2009 was the Google Gear version?
Yeah, it was after I got banned from Viper games.
Oh, okay. Well, before that, we had some other shit, but the GPS tracking
No,
stuff
but
was 2009.
here's the deal.
Oh,
I
2009.
got banned, and I got this in an email, and people have seen it. I literally am banned from his games because people are mad that they can't beat me, and I won't let them win. I'm not saying I haven't lost. I have lost. I have been on losing sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's a psychotic death match when you play. You got to know what you're getting
into. And I have
into.
accepted it, but the truth is, I'm not going to let somebody beat me. I let somebody beat me the second time I ever commanded, and just like everybody else does when you let them do something, they forget. When they beat you, they forget that you weren't playing 100%.
No, you can't give them gimmies.
And then what happens is when you stand up in front of 300 people and look at me and say, I got you, you son of a bitch, when 8 hours earlier, you were literally as a grown man crying, begging me to take a break so you could have a time to get on the field. And then now in front of people, you're going to step up? No, fuck that.
And that's why he's not allowed to play with other people anymore, because it's prison rules. So there's no disrespect allowed.
So we're new here, right? We're new here. So again, that mentality that you have, my little brother would he'll tell you a story. That is my mentality when we play basketball. Like I was a basketball player growing up. That was my mentality. It was, I didn't care who you were.
Dude, this is our mentality when we play Uno with our kids.
Yep.
Oh no. I legit go at my daughter. My daughter's 12 years old. I legit go at her like she is my enemy when we practicing. There's no remorse. There's no remorse at all. No. And if you cry, so what? Suck it up. Like, but
Lawrence ran a martial arts school. His daughter's one of the black belts who teaches the anti-bully program. So it's a very martial family.
Yeah, both of my daughters are black belts.
So I did jiu-jitsu, and then I love that. I love that more than scenario play because you just get to fight, try and kill each other. And then after the big falling out with Viper, I moved on. I wasn't going to play anymore. I got dragged out, I think, for retirement. No, I got dragged out for the retirement game before the fallout. Doesn't matter.
I dragged you out to run my third faction.
That doesn't matter.
Well, because Viper, I did production with a company called MXS, which was Patrick and Diane McKinnon. And you got to understand, like I said, it comes from this long lineage. Viper,
Patrick and Mother did a huge. You're not going to see them in the history of paintball. They're going to be deleted because there was a baggage that came out, and Pac-Man turned out to be a convicted rapist who did not register as a sex offender.
Yeah,
and their whole business collapsed. But those two people that you're not going to see in the history of paintball are largely responsible for popularizing scenario through large portions of the U.S.
Yep. Like I tell people in this, regardless of my personal opinion of Viper, regardless of my personal opinion of Patrick and all these other things, I will tell their story because if I don't tell their story, or if I talk nothing but shit about them and then I'm associated with it, then all people are going to know is that I'm associated with this shit. So you gotta be able to give them their props, what they came up with. Like I'll give you
great games. You would have loved the fucking games.
So that being said, so I am. They're what's the Viper game called? Tombstone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
real big.
Tombstone. We could call Tombstone out in particular before you start. Tombstone is the descendant of a game that Lawrence wrote. That's actually a really dumbed down version.
Oh yeah. No.
I like
the Tombstone game. I specifically.
Well, if you like it, then you would really like the real version. Is all we're saying.
Oh yeah. Like even
you're getting some watered down off-brand like Dr. Goodman instead of some Dr. Pepper.
Did y'all get player cards? You got player cards?
We haven't played yet.
So that thing about it. So think about it. Only thing we want.
You should.
Yeah,
you really should.
We've done. Only thing we've done this stuff at Hell Survivor. We done Monster Game.
Okay.
GI.
Okay.
We did one game at White River. Those are the only 3 big scenario games. We did Alien Invasion at Lone Wolf too. So this year, pre everything. Yeah. What's the year we planned on kind of having a big year, hitting way more.
Yeah, the Viper games.
No, the truth is, y'all should play a Viper game. I mean, Viper games out of the games that are out there.
It's a different flavor.
His is probably still the closest
to old school
what scenario games were. And like I said, again, regardless of my personal, because another thing I try to explain to people is Viper and I were like an indie. We've known each other 20 years. I lived with Patrick and Diane. I moved Viper up and built him a paintball field. I mean, so when friendships end, it's personal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people that are acquaintances they just assumed I was a paying player. And they're like, why you got this hard on for this guy? And why has this guy got a hard on for you? Well, because we were fucking friends. Right. And now we ain't friends no more. But we still in this thing together.
Right.
But I tell people you should play Viper games because his game, I mean, he has a good game. I played 110 of his games.
I played like
60
or 70, worked on a lot of them. It's good.
I'm trying to have those numbers, Matt. We need
exactly. We need to step our game up.
It's just a different flavor than what you're used to because you've been kind of playing territory control games. Rush that slapstick, even though you just ate 2 cases on the way to it. His stuff is going to be missions and tasks given to you on a timer. It's like be at your base every 15 or 20 or 30 minutes and you get your shit and go do it.
And that's why when I saw what you guys were doing, this fits our team perfectly.
Yeah,
like that
perfect.
style of play fits us perfectly.
So I'll get to that as I wind up to 2017 because we did do a game in that style. So I left paintball because I found out that flying giant scale model airplanes is way more intense and scary than paintball. Because if you've got like a $450 Electra, you've got your $200 rotor on top, you've got $200-300 in your nitro in your tank setup,
right?
And you've got $200 barrel kit. Imagine all that together, but everybody here's played Xbox, right? Yeah. Okay, so imagine one time playing Madden, if you went left instead of going right and got sacked or dropped the ball. Imagine you just destroyed your entire paintball gun.
Okay.
Like you set the whole thing on fire and you never get to use it again. That's the intensity and what's on the line every time you fly a model plane. You might have like 2,000 hours building this thing and painting it and making it perfect. And then you might just bury that motherfucker within 8 seconds of takeoff or less.
10 seconds, right. 10 seconds in the air and you're done. You're like, shit.
Yeah, you might spend, I've seen a guy spend $40,000 on 3 seconds.
No, I'm good.
Nope. So there's a different level of intensity with it, and that got me. And then we fast forwarded to 2018, 2019, and Lauren said, I'm coming back. I'm going to do one more game. I'm going to command one more. I'm going to get everybody to come take a shot at me, which was a good idea and bad idea because a lot of people that had like pent up rage and bad feelings came out and said had some fucking terrible sponsorship, and we ended up ejecting 2 grown men. I had to talk down an NXL referee who had lost his goddamn mind and was screaming at the ultimate ref. Yeah, there was so much political and drama behind the game that the sportsmanship for a lot of people went out the window. But when you went to the night play and there was only 30 or 40 people on the field, the sportsmanship was fucking fantastic.
All right. Well, that particular game was a demonstration that even though I had been retired for 9 years, there were a lot of grudges, and we played true old school scenarios. So in the old school rules, you played run what you brung, and what that means is if you brought 50 people and I brought 10, we didn't balance the sides. Me and my 10 went out there and we took on your 50. That's how it worked. And in the May game, they started the game and they outnumbered me by 85 players. They had 9 tanks and I had 0 tanks.
Shit.
By the end of the game,
Firefly.
About halfway through the game, I had 22 people pack up and leave. Because they were constantly hitting our base.
Smackdown. Yeah, they were getting smacked down.
But we didn't because we won the game.
Oh, shit.
So here's what happened.
And we won the game because of the software. I mean, the truth is it wasn't that particular game. It's funny because I'm going to go ahead and let the secret out now for a lot of, you have people out there saying haters. No, I've got haters. I got people that have sent me emails saying they're going to rape my wife. They're going to kill my kids over paintball. But see, it's not about
paintball. Gets savage, dude. It's prison rules. It's socially shit descends to prison rules.
You must mentally fuck these people up.
Yes,
dude. If you spent thousands of dollars on a trip and you didn't even get to walk on the field, you'd be fucking mad too. So I see where the rage against him comes from. So I'm the guy who always sees it kind of from both sides.
So we're in the right position because I'm you and he's him. Yeah, that's hard.
Well, you got to understand. There's a couple of things. The first one is that Alan,
I came before him and was out before he started his run.
Kinda,
more or less. There's not much overlap.
Well,
like a year or two of overlap.
Yeah, about 2 years, and then Alan was out. But what I'm saying is when he came back. And by coming back, I mean, he got more interested in paintball. He and I hooked up and started talking. He came out and ran a third faction for a Viper game that we were doing. And he's like, I want to build this software because fuck you and your team. And the reason why is because
Fuck
everybody,
you and your team, Lawrence.
everybody, he was listening to all these people whine and bellyache, and he's just like, why are you letting him get in your head? Just go do this. Just go do that. What
he writes down and it writes on this giant blog, page after page, of what he does to you, how he does it to you, the whole organizational strategy. I wrote on there too. You could just read it and do what he does and be just as good. Lawrence sucks at fucking paintball. He's never played a rec ball game in his entire life.
Jesus.
I played rec ball, I played tournament, and I played scenario. I'll smash Lawrence at paintball over and over again.
Paintball.
But he will, yes, but in a scenario game.
At paintball at its core.
Yes, but in a scenario game, Lawrence will beat on me like a drum.
For 24 hours.
Okay, and let me ask you, so what is it? Is it your tactics?
It's organization.
Okay, that's all I was getting at.
And the app replaces everything he does and gives everybody turnkey organization, which is why I built it in the first place, because fuck his team. Anybody should be able to walk up and be as organized as they are.
That just takes us right into, we might as well just talk about the app.
Right.
Right into it.
That's how we're dovetailing into it. Because Firefly, where he commanded, was the first game where we used a server and app ever in the world.
And that was the reason why I wanted to command it, because I felt like if the game can handle me commanding it, then it can handle anybody else commanding it. And simply that's because, not because I'm great commanding, but I'm great at organization. And where success comes in is from the OODA loop. Okay. And that's how everybody makes a decision. So you orient. Right. You orient to a place, you organize your area, and then you attack it. And then the goal is you basically get inside your opponent's OODA loop, and it appears that you're psychic, that you can move before they move. Yeah, and the only way you're going to get that is you learn all of the rules, you learn how the game flows, then you start noticing people's triggers, and you start hitting it. Meaning, I would if I knew you were the kind of person that wanted to hunt me, I would piss you off so you hunted me. Because you know what? I'm not worth any points.
He's going to kite you to death all over the field.
Right. You're going to chase me all over the field, and you're going to shoot the shit out of me. But my team is going to be scoring points, right? And fucking
okay, wait. So hold on to that thought. Okay, so I had I'm glad you said that. That was my strategy, right? So I had my first. I was going to have my first opportunity to command at White River for the Battle of Stalingrad. And that's what it was, right? Battle of Stalingrad, right? Oh no, Fall of Berlin.
Is this a mission-based experience, or is this a territory kind of control?
It's a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Okay. And White River's a little bit of both. They kind of a little bit.
And what you were saying was going to be like Lee. I was going against Lee. I was going to be going against Lee Williams. I would have been my first time meeting him. A great guy, but my whole strategy is like I told Mike. I told the rest of my team when we got there. Our job is to complete missions. We are going to piss them off to the point where they want to come and look for us. But the whole time they're looking for us, my team, right? My team, go piss them off, shoot them, make them mad, make them chase you. But everybody else that was there for me to play for me was going to be completing missions. Like that guy, the guy he's pointing to, right? He's a guy on our team. He is a gunner. He could care less about a mission. He wants to shoot. I was going to sick him loose and let him go and piss every last one of them off. So they can look for these jerseys that I'm wearing right now, this jersey, find this jersey and chase them while I'm sending everybody else to complete every mission I was given.
So y'all know Paco, correct? Bobby, he's with the Deplorables.
Bobby Schnabel from the Deplorables.
No,
we haven't met. No,
they haven't. You'll know him when you run into him.
You'll learn into him, and then you've probably not met Dave Cilio. But those two guys are very much in that frame. So Thunderstruck, the way I had Thunderstruck set up was you had an assault element, you had
to give context real quick. Thunderstruck is. Let me give context real quick. Thunderstruck is empirically the most successful scenario team ever with the highest dollar sponsorships to ever happen ever. Yep. They've got like $40,000 was it AGD?
Airgun design. About 30,000.
The entire team was their entire team was handed EMAGs.
Well, that would be the equivalent now of a scenario team of 20 people getting fully comped from Planet Eclipse.
Okay. Yeah, with the highest, whatever the highest marker is of Planet Eclipse made, you get 20 of them.
Right, not just that. I mean, everything from soft goods to. I mean, we were fully sponsored.
And Dave Cilio, who was one of their former point men, he's got a long scenario history. His roster of current paintball accolades of winning like woods ball tournaments and stuff. He's like the best dude in America.
And he's
like
like
the number one guy. Yeah, he's like 50.
But you couldn't tell.
He's a wrestling coach, and he's short. And the problem is, next time I see Dave Celia, we don't play paintball, so I have to fight him in a sparring match, and that shit's gonna suck.
Yeah, it is, because Dave's a strong little fucker, I can tell you.
I know, dude. He's gonna wrestle me down, hold me down, and I'm gonna fish for an arm bar that my back can't do anymore, and I'm gonna hurt myself.
But you also realize that Dave takes BJJ too, right?
I know, dude. I know it's gonna hurt really bad, but I know it's gonna hurt, and I have to do it. It's not an option.
So we had this question in the comments. I don't know what Dave is talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know what Winter Wars he's talking about either. What field?
I think maybe he was talking about who played against him. That was at the Winter Wars. Was at
was it the Yeti and?
So he's talking about you? Okay, because I was like, I don't know. I ain't played.
No, we didn't go. We didn't go.
He hasn't played against me. I don't even know what Winter Wars is.
Maybe he's talking about who went against him in general. Maybe.
Maybe so.
I don't know.
I've
never heard of Winter Wars.
So Winter Wars. So he went down there. I think if I'm not mistaken, he was I know for a fact he was the XO there, and I think they were kind of outmanned a little bit. I think they had what's the guy name? The guy that plays
unless he's talking about Paco, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, Paco's not a commander.
They don't win them all, but the deplorables are just savages.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is
we sponsor them with software, and we sponsor Jason Bryant from the Infected, and we sponsor Delta.
Now Jason Bryant, we know. We ran into Jason Bryant. We ran into Infected several times. We played with them at Hell Survivors. Yeah, we ran into them several times. Now Jason Bryant, I think we ran into Jason Bryant a couple times.
He definitely tried to recruit you. He tries to recruit everybody he sees to come play for him in September.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And to be honest, I think between the two games, I mean, y'all would probably enjoy Pirate, but I think you'll probably enjoy RTT more.
RTT better. Yeah.
We got an obligation though.
They're going to North Carolina.
Yeah, we got an obligation. No, not North Carolina. We're going to the blast camp. I think we're going to.
When is the game?
The Evil Dead game. Yeah, we're going to the Evil Dead game. So we got an obligation. We already gave it to Connor. Yeah, so we gonna. That's what we are. We are.
Well, there'll be other RTT games. I mean, we'll get into the formats here in a few minutes. But we tell you all that to tell you that the software was actually written for a player like me, and that's kind of how Alan and I have approached it. To where
it's designed for a player like me who doesn't have the assets he has to be able to throw together an ad hoc force that can smash his hyper organized team.
Right. Okay. Because I used to do a thing, it's called the Book of TB. And the truth of the matter is, it's not all my knowledge. I'm one of these guys.
Common fucking sense. Go read Sun Tzu. It's literally the book of goddamn common sense. Go around them, distract them, go get them drunk the night before. They did that before.
Work. Yeah, we've done that. But yeah, that don't work.
So you full on Art of War. Full on Art of War.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
It's Art of War that extends deep into the meta game.
It's worse than that.
Into the politics of recruiting before the game ever starts, into the party the night before. It's a very, very, very thorough Art of War.
Do you know? Right. But do you know who Sherman was?
No.
Sherman.
He's the dude who set the South on fire in the Civil War.
He burnt the South.
Okay. History. Okay, gotcha.
People in Georgia are still mad.
Correct. And I'm from Georgia. However, Sherman, I totally fight. Like, I am a total war. That's what it's called. It's a total war concept. It means everything is fair.
Which is why
there was
a petition that for him not to get to play anymore.
Right.
All circles back to him being evil.
Right. I got you.
No, I mean, everything from, a month before the game, I've got people infiltrating your side and they're filling me in on information. To the point where I've done that myself. I was the XO. He
ended up as the XO for the other side, yeah.
But he had never
Somebody hated him and then made him his XO under a fake, not even a fake driver's license, a real driver's license.
I created a fake name. I created fake everything. I registered for the game. He made me the XO. He had no idea who I was.
Until like 8 minutes before the game started.
So yeah. I mean that's a story in itself, like how we even got there. That's a story.
Yeah.
But as far as
don't get me wrong. So anyway, the software is designed. It was started that way in 2010. I wanted to come up with a way with Alan to make software with all the stuff that we knew to make game production better.
And then we found cooler shit.
Right. And so you got to understand, we've been working on this 10 years. We've got thousands of man hours. A lot of the tech that some people do, we've already been through. RFID, we already went through RFID. You can break RFID with a bulk magnet eraser. I can run around with a bulk magnet eraser and
no. I figured out how to flip every single cousin's RFID flag station from the parking lot without leaving my car.
Yep.
Okay.
So we've been down that road. We went down earlier cell phones. We went down iPacs, the little compact.
We went through the military grade wearable 640 by 480 Windows display that was VGA connected.
Right.
Okay.
So we did all of that, and then what's happened is about 2 years ago, 5G started coming on the ground.
Shit, you're right. November 1, 2009.
Yep.
I'm looking at those.
So 5G is basically gigabit to the device.
All right.
And so
you're just going to wear Internet of Things devices that route through your phone for gear.
Correct. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Everything's, if to get to that computerized utopia that everybody wants, like the Jetsons, the computers have to be connected. And so 5G is going to basically do away with wired connection internet. So we started building the platform to connect to 5G. And now that the phones have started doing, when I saw Pokemon Go and Walking Dead,
we have to intersect with 5G, and we have to intersect through look-through displays.
Correct. And the AR cameras on the actual.
Yeah. So bring that up, Mike. Show that, because that's dope. Like, I want people to see this, right? For people that have not seen it, you have one of the AR pictures. I know.
Alan can do all that shit. Dude.
Oh no.
They got it on their stream. I sent them screenshots.
Oh, okay.
The floating heart would be a good one.
There we go. He was explaining that one to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So right here, in the pirate game that's coming up, there's 8 quests you got to do. And as you get to the end of this particular quest, you're going to open a book. And when you're looking at it through your game camera in the app, through the virtual reality mode, all of a sudden this giant holographic heart starts floating and spinning over that book. And it's beating, and it makes this wet, sloshy sound, and it's pretty gross. And when you tap it, boom, that signs off your quest. So you don't have to go find a referee. You don't have to go do any of that stuff. You just got to get your hands on this prop, and the quest is done, and your whole side benefits from it. And that holographic technology is being miniaturized into all kinds of stuff. We're already Magic Leap and HoloLens 2 ready, but they just don't fit in your goggles yet. So as this stuff becomes more miniaturized and fits in the goggles, boom, instant holographic displays, and games that already work with it is the most important part. Because if that stuff comes out and there's no games that you can play on it, then everybody loses. I mean, they're not going to keep making more of that technology because nobody's using it for entertainment use cases.
Right.
And that's where that's going. So what we do is we not only trigger the holographics, but we also trigger 2D menus. So when you come to the pirate game, you're going to be, if you start the game, you're like, okay, I'm going to play. I'm using the app. You start the game as a greenhorn. You're not on a pirate ship. As your side gets gold, you get a cut of it. You go to the thing off field, to the image. You point your app at it, and you go, boom, okay, I upgraded myself. Now I can join a crew. You go to the ship. You point at the flag. You go, boom, apply to join the crew. You get approved, and you're on it. And that's it. You never have to really talk to a ref. You don't have to ask the game director, can I get to go do this? It's there for any individual that wants it to do. And if somebody doesn't want to do it, that's cool. We've got stuff for them to do too.
We got a question in the comments. They want to know if the device will fit in your pocket.
It's just, fucking A-Train. That guy's ass train from Vulcan. We love A-Train. We can't, sorry, A-Train. We love you. But I when it comes out of my mouth, it comes out as verbal diarrhea just because of who I am. That's A-Train from Vulcan. He's from the Vulcan Corps. And now if you notice he's trying to claim that it's not a coincidence, but if you look at the last Vulcan commercial for those pants, they're putting the cell phone in their pocket, is all we're saying. Maybe Vulcan knows what the future is.
There's a lot of people that hate on phones, but I personally don't think they hate on.
And poor Andrew.
And well, the thing is they really aren't hating on the phone because it's a phone. So, I touched on it earlier. Radios. So this will tell you, and this is before Baofeng. So Baofeng actually leveled the playing field for a lot of people.
Yeah, you had to go to Bass Pro Shop and you had to go buy yourself a marine grade VHF radio, or you had to spend $400 or $500 on a Motorola that you could program.
And that's
you
what
had to get them for everybody on your team.
Right.
Okay. So if people think the cost of entry is expensive now, that shit was way more back in the day.
I would show up at a game and I had 20 VHF radios that you couldn't listen to. They were my radios. And then I would hand them out to team captains. So rather than me being a commander that I carried 20 radios, no. I gave you a radio.
Right. Okay. Correct. And then your app. So because I think we were playing around with it, your app kind of to a point eliminates that need, right?
Yes, right. It gives. Hold on.
We're gonna have to start from the beginning. We're gonna start from the beginning real quick because we keep saying app. We don't make an app. We make a bunch of apps. Is the problem. Right. So what Ronin is at its core, and we'll address this, Lawrence, is a platform. And we have to go over this with a lot of people because people look at us and go, well, Ronin produced that game. I didn't have a good time because of the sportsmanship at Firefly. I'm never going to another Ronin game. We ran into that today. It was like, okay. I didn't even make that fucking game. I just made some software that ran it, but if that's how you feel, that's how it's going to be.
Right.
So you make the tech. So just for clear purposes, you make the tech that is being used at a lot of these games.
If I'm out there making a game that I have to come out and run, it's because it's a technology demonstration. I need to go test some hardware. I need to collect a bunch of data on player activity. I need to see how my players like these different bits of the game. And if they like it and what we need to fix, we'll fix in that particular game app.
Right, and you enhance on it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're done. We don't produce scheduled events. It's not going to be like a Living Legends 1 through whatever. It's just we make the tech demos when we have to. So the platform.
So Living Legends, for example, could come to you and say, "Hey, we want to use your tech at the next Legend event." So
we've already talked to Hanu many times.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I'm just in theory. I'm just for clarity purposes. You guys are saying we're going to put on a Living Legends game. You saying that, hey, Living Legends or Hanu's coming to you and say, "Hey, I want to try to use your flag capture technology for." This particular aspect of the game might not use.
Right. Well, it's more than that. It's more than that. The turn from a producer's, because you have to break the platform down into different perspectives. So if we're looking at it from the perspective of an event producer, that's kind of who it's designed for. It's designed for players that want more, and event producers who want to be able to deliver a wide variety of different kinds of games.
Okay.
So if you're an event producer or even a player, and you go to the website, it's just going to look like Netflix. It's a bunch of game posters.
Okay.
And you can drill in and you can see all the features of that game, all the sizzle reels and stuff. If you're a game producer, you now have everything turnkey. So you've got your point of sale, you've got your event registrations, you have billing. You're going to have all of the game features. So you just say, I want to make this kind of event, and it's going to last from May 15th to May 17th. On May 15th, from 9 to 3, we're going to do a battle royale. From 5 to 7, we're going to do a miniature scenario game. And after that, we're going to party. Saturday, we're going to set up more game types. I mean, you can really Mario Party it up. Everybody loves Mario Party. You mix game types, everybody has a great time.
Right.
There's no reason that you have to do a long 2 or 3 day game that doesn't end. You can mix a shitload of game types into one event.
And all this is going on while there's also like those folks who could care less about the technology and just want to get out there and shoot faces. All this is going on while that's still happening.
Right. Yeah, all of the game types are really flexible. Now, if you want to do some of them like a battle royale, you got to have an app. It's not going to be optional because you need to know that the field is shrinking and how far you are from the boundary and which direction you got to run.
Yeah,
if you want to play battle royale in real life with a shrinking field, you can't do it without a phone app. Well, that's just not going to happen.
There are certain game types that are app heavy, and that's done because if you've played Command and Conquer, or not in Command and Conquer, you play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have an Xbox.
Yeah. You gotta have.
If you're going to a MagFed, you gotta have a MagFed gun. Period.
Right. It's the same thing. If you're
going to do an esport, you gotta have a phone that you can log in with. I mean, it's really
because a lot of the future that we're going toward, everyone has to have a phone. So if you get to a point where you want to be able to do a heat map, where you want to be able to see how people play across your field, you want to.
And we sent you those pictures. I think you got pictures.
You got one of those, right? And this. So when I saw this, and you mentioned that to me, this right here goes to a field owner, right? Who's saying, okay, well, this is my field is built a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. And then I want to see where, based on how my field is, let's say that they're not running scenario mini games, right? We're gonna call them mini games, but they're running just flat out go out there and shoot faces. This will tell you where most people are at and where most of your action is, and maybe it gives a field owner a way to go in and redesign the field to make people funnel to a different area.
Correct. That's the long-term data benefits because it also hooks to a CRM for all your customers. Groupon, social media auto posting. It's a turnkey business platform if you're a producer for making any kind of paintball or airsoft or laser tag or even LARP. If you don't want to use guns, you want to beat each other with sticks, we don't care.
Yep.
the software does not care. The software does not care how you eliminate people.
Yeah. And I just said we're the tech. So because I saw that you were coming out with wearable tech, or you were
Yeah.
We are big. I don't know if she's in, but we are big team tags wear, right? We wear the team tags, we wear the armbands, we got those, we do all that, right? So from a person who I like all small businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you guys kind of be trying? Would you guys work with team tags? Like, would your the wearable tech work in team tags, or is it something completely separate?
No, it would be something separate. So here's the thing. I understand team tags. I'm glad they're out there and they feel.
We know the evolution of it because it used to be just the tape that screwed up your jerseys back in the day, and I understand why. People got the heat transfer.
Right, I understand why people got mad at duct tape. I've still got duct tape residue on some of my jerseys.
Right,
but what people need to understand that as a producer, I need to be able to control how you identify yourself in the game. What I mean by that is if I say, okay, the only people
that's absolutely correct. We see ourselves as a data business.
Yeah, that's my beautiful wife.
Awesome. Yeah, Alice, we're a data business. That's how we see ourselves. We're not event producers. We're a platform and a data business.
Right.
Because the data is what makes all the games better. So to dovetail on that data real quick, Lawrence, to jump in, the heat map. Mm-hmm. As we have more and more heat maps, we can feed it to cloud AI. And cloud AI will just look at all that behavior. So in real time, if a player does something that's abnormal, like a guy went up into this big group and then he walked back to base halfway, but then went back to the group. The AI is going to see it and it's going to flag a referee, go see what that guy's up to. Go see if he's either cheating or if he lost something and he simply needs help finding something. And you get better customer service throughout as the data continually trains itself. And that's a big point of what we're doing.
Okay. Right. That's what a lot of the data is for. But when you to roll back to where we were, and where were we right before that? Part?
Sorry, I really like AI cloud on the cloud.
We're gonna
get about the wearables.
We're gonna get to your paintballs. All right, so wearables.
Okay.
So several wearables. Correct. That is where your phone goes.
Okay.
So that is a Thrim Darkfault Critical Gear comms case. I think they're like 30 or 40, or they're like 40 or 50 bucks on Amazon. They fit on mall straps.
And you want to get the one that doesn't block cell phone signals. There's one
the comms version. Version. The non-comms version blocks and seals in your phone if you don't want to get hit with a hellfire in a war zone.
Right. That's done for real because it's based off real. So the other thing is you got to understand is I tell people this, we don't innovate anything really. We take what other people do and I'm sweet
with Legos
and make it better. That's really what the Book of TB was. That's what this software is. It's taking what other people have done and bringing it together. So a lot of this is based off of the military's land warrior concept, which is every individual is basically their own walking little mini network. They've got their own cameras.
That's the one right there.
Right. Okay. They've got their own heads-up display. They have all of their own data, and then all of that feeds up to a commander sitting at a tablet looking at all of this data, seeing where people are.
Right. So Lawrence, Guru here is top right. Has bought himself 4 Arduino sets and has been out building props. Awesome. So what we're looking at here in this middle screenshot is Arduino. That's a 1-inch OLED. It's hooked to a simple USB Arduino Micro Pro that I held up and a board. So as long as you have the sketch, you can make it. And Lawrence has been printing housings, and we've got Dandy Heavy Industry printing other modified housings. And these are just for any GoPro mount.
Yeah.
So as long as our goal in the end is, I know one of the complaints is people's like, I don't want to take my phone out. And I feel you.
Yep, there you go.
That's it right there. That was it. Drew it up in 3D, and he's printed it out and all the electronic stuff right into it with a big battery that lasts like 2 days.
Okay.
And all you do is Bluetooth connect it to your phone. So if your phone is in your chest mall box, you never take out your phone again. It's just Bluetooth connected to this, which can be on a GoPro mount. It could be on a rail mount, kind of wherever you want to put it.
The truth of the matter is, if you wanted to build your own and show up with it, we wouldn't care. We're from that school where
it's really,
people built their own law rockets, and every game you'd show up and see, I figured out how to do this, and the next thing you know, the next game 20 people had built that.
Yeah, Guru, here's what I got wrong. I told you open source. It's not specifically open source. It's like an open reference design. Right. You say, here's the code, here's what to transmit, build whatever the fuck you want, and if you need more features, ask.
Right.
So we can integrate. When you see this really sweet Arduino Intel ARMS props, add a Bluetooth and I'll integrate it. It's that simple. Okay. And we can already do it and make all those awesome physical props work with the game.
Like the box I showed you.
Yeah. And there's a guy Intel ARMS who makes some really crazy stuff. He's from Czech Republic or something.
Okay.
He makes these really elaborate, really nice open case boxes, all kinds of puzzles. Very good stuff. And it's one Bluetooth controller from integrating.
Right. And then that integrates into your, I'm going to call it your software.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. It integrates in your software. So again, I can say, okay, well, I bought this box or this bomb or whatever the case be from someone has Bluetooth capability, and we make this part of the game. And you just say, sure, maybe, and we're going to have there'll be a set of standardized commands for different puzzles, puzzle on, puzzle off, and you'll know who solved it. And it'll be pretty easy.
Now that's as a producer. As a player, you wouldn't be able to bring props and input that in. I mean, if it was a game that Alan and I were doing for tech, we could do that because we understand the software and all that. But I don't necessarily know if that would. It just depends. We've got a couple of early adopting promoters like Josh Nutt in Canada. Josh could probably do that because he would understand the tech enough to do that. What our purpose? So if you look at it like Call of Duty
on the Bluetooth side, there's a pretty standard set that you can work with.
Right. And you're talking to two gamers here. So again, like this, and I can't say it enough. When I saw you guys' tech for what was that LCP? Is that's where it was?
That was that was a game called Infinite War, and that was very Call of Duty inspired.
When I saw that tech and I saw that gameplay, I was like, okay, I think I messaged you guys like, hey, what is this? I need to know. I love it. I want it because again, I'm a tech guy, right? I'm not as into it as Alan is, of course, but I'm a tech guy as well, and it's like that.
I'm not that into it, to be honest.
But that just jumped right at me.
He brought it back to me. He was like, "Man, you got to check this out. You have to."
So
I gave y'all what the app I gave y'all access to was called Warlord, and we can start with that because Warlord is kind of the base model for what we do, and we send it. And Warlord works at any game.
Okay.
Now, when these Force Trackers first came out, I was like, I had the really early stuff, and then you saw, I think, BattleTac and something else come out, and the problem with those is they don't scale. They don't scale. It would be awesome for Rec Ball, but they're never going to scale to really big games like you want to play.
Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing,
and that takes what we do.
Right. So here's the deal on that. So the two programs are real simple. One is client based. That is the Ronin game platform. So that is it's just like World of Warcraft or any other MMO game. There is a server that basically runs the game. There's not really a game promoter as much as there is a brain in a box that's running the game.
Yeah.
Game promoter.
When we got to LCP, the normal job of a game director was me playing alongside people and showing them what to do.
And there's no way you can cheat because everything is.
When's the last time the guy that's actually playing the game just came and played alongside you? It doesn't really happen anymore. Right. And it has to because you got to know how to play your own game if you're going to build it.
Right.
Correct. True. To make it better. And so that's the thing. Alan went and played an hour and a half on the game, and everybody.
I got in 3 hours.
3 hours. I'm sorry. It was an hour and a half on.
That was a record for me. It took 10 years to get those 3 hours.
And what that allowed him to do, I doubt we're going to give the base code out.
OG code and adapt to screen size.
If you design your own and want to connect it, we'll allow you to connect it. But we are in a business to make money.
If you are talking, if you're talking about the phone side, it works on any resolution.
Correct.
So we're good on the phone side.
Because he's like me. He kind of saw the display you had up. I think he was talking about that. Like, so for people,
that's on 64 by 128, and there'll be some options for some other size screens. I've got a crazy one.
But I can tell you this. So having played with night vision, I carried Gen 3 night vision the whole time.
How tiny that thing is.
Yeah.
So we've got other screen options.
And
there'll be some different screen options.
Right. So, but the biggest thing was if people wanted, so if I brought Gen 3 and you brought Gen 2, mine's obviously going to be better. But you had night vision.
$2,000 better.
Right.
But in this instance, if you're smart enough and you want to build your own heads-up display and just connect it up to our shit, fuck yeah, have at it.
Okay, so let me ask you something. So just still, because I'm still thinking about that. So how does the the ability to build your game, how does that help game producers against or just producers cheating in general? I think we talked about that for a second.
How we stop producers from cheating?
Yeah.
Oh, how we get them from fucking players? Lawrence, this is one of Lawrence's favorite topic.
Okay.
Well,
we don't allow them to modify shit on the fly.
Yeah, you
like
can't.
I couldn't cheat you at LCP if I wanted to, because to change anything, I had to publish an entirely new app or an update to the app, and then make every player download it.
And we're the guys that wrote it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So if you're just a game producer running it, you're not going to know how to manipulate it. So the only way you'd be able to manipulate it would be to just basically not play the game. You know what I'm saying? And just give people stuff and try to force the game to figure it out. But if the game is based on you have to have X amount of dollars before you can do this, there's no button they can put in and give one side $10,000. There's no way to adjust it like that.
We've had events where producers don't even want to admit the scores at the end of the game.
Correct.
Right. Okay, but
because they knew people wouldn't come back, so we show it all in real time.
So that's what I was about to say. So that picture that we had put up, that is real time scoring, right? That score is real time. It's always available. Like there's no
everybody.
Option. Okay.
It's literally up to the microsecond.
Right. If you have the app, you can sit and see it. You can see what the score is, and you can see everything you do and how it impacts the score. That's
not that one. No,
that's the leaderboard. Okay, that leaderboard right there is individual ranking. So starting at the top right there, that was most action point claims. So instead of using push sticks, we used the AR interface for that. And the person who pulled the most of them in the entire game was Jason Bryant, followed by Tony Medina. So Jason Bryant was on one side, Medina was the other, and they did the most capturing over the thing.
And to capture, is that the other screen that we have? Is that the other screen that we have with the big yellow block? Is that the capturing?
So the big yellow block. This right here is one of our original action points. So when you go up to a place and you see a slapstick that's made out of PVC, at a Ronin tech demo, you won't see that. Instead, you're going to see a tablet wherever we can put them in. And that tablet is the screen you see. So as your people gather around it and the GPS is counting up, the meter goes up for your ownership. So it's just like the hell was those videos?
Call of Duty Domination.
Domination.
Call of Duty,
Domination.
Yeah, it's domination mode.
Basically, you don't have to scan anything. You don't even have to take your phone out your pocket.
You just stand
tablet knows that the tablet's using GPS to the server and says, I'm the tablet, and I need to have everything 50 feet around me. And then as everybody gets within 50 feet, it goes, okay, there's 20 red, there's 18 blue. You'll see it ticking more.
And then it'll add 2 points to the side that's up.
Right.
Tick, tick, tick,
and
tick,
then
tick,
as the two
and when they go up, they tick down.
out,
tick, 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 tick.
So you'll be able to see who owns it based on an RGB pole that comes out of the
there's a barber pole
that will tell you which color owns it.
Okay.
So and that's part of the thing. So Night Play's dead right now, and I feel bad because there's going to be a lot of people who are never going to experience the kind of shit that I did when I was a lot younger and got in there when it was still like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I want to give it a try.
When you have a field that's got nothing but these flag stations that actually have RGB lights, and Cousins could do this with their RFID, but we can do it on a much bigger level with what we've got.
Survivor.
So yeah, imagine
on the East Coast.
You okay? Well, you walk onto the field at Sherwood. Where do you go to kill somebody at night? You look for the light of the other team's color that continually gets brighter, and you go and you shoot their ass at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know where to go find fights.
That's how this would work with the night with Night.
Yep.
For people that wanted to do that, there'll be missions running at night.
That's
the whole goal is to build a good experience. I mean, we understand that really what needs to happen is, because I've been to games that the paint sucked, the air sucked, people cheated, but I still had a blast. Me and my team. Me and my guys that are there, we had our own.
If you're a first game producer, it's unrealistic to expect a first-time game producer to go out there with like 15 Samsung Galaxy Tab tablets that are 10 inches on data plans and custom housing. He's gonna be like 10 grand into that shit real fast.
And David,
trying to get all the finest.
Right. And David, you're absolutely right. That's the whole purpose. This is made to go to fields and producers. That's what it's designed for.
Right. Me as a player, I just loved it because again,
we haven't made it to the player part yet. The player part's the best fucking part.
If you called us up and said, "Hey, dude, I got this field and I want to run scenario games. Can you help me?" Basically, what we would do is like I tell people, I can give you the recipe, the meat, and the stove and the pot. I can just give you the meat, the pot, and the stove. I can just give you, you know what I'm saying? I can give it to you however you want it, and it's designed for fields that have either worked with promoters and didn't like it, Because there's a lot of, when you got to give up half your money to somebody.
I can sum it up real easy. I mean, it's for anybody who wants to produce an event and can do it well, and we really don't care who you are.
Correct.
Right.
Except for Viper.
Except for Viper. He doesn't get to play.
And again, that's it. And like I tell people, it's personal. But Alan and I, we wrote it into our corporate charter. Even when we sell the company,
we did.
No, you cannot do business with him ever.
Okay, but like I said, for you guys, this person. Okay, I get it. I'm not.
We hold grudges.
Look, dude, I spent lots of years writing games that if y'all go to his games, and
you're gonna get to play it, and you're gonna love it, but it's gonna be a really dumbed down version.
That those player cards, I sat in my house and wrote every individual player card I wrote. And
they haven't been updated in like 20 years or 10 years,
and they're still being played. And he's making money, and I ain't getting no money. And I like money.
Well, I mean, like I said,
look, you can see behind me. I got all kinds of little toys and shit like that. I like money. You know what I mean? So
we're going to go to Ronin Kinetic not produce, but Ronin Kinetic ran game. We're gonna go to a Viper game. We don't have that problem. We're gonna go to every game.
That's what we said.
Every game we can go to.
So we. Oh, Lars, let's dovetail on this real quick.
Yeah,
we're also a super sarcastic meme page. So you can go say it. We're going to go to a Command Bro game when the Command Bros start making games, selling that Command Bro paint from ANS/HK Army. It's going to look cool with the Afro ball on it, dude. It's going to look fucking sweet when that paintball comes out.
Believe it or not, the Rakim's got he's got the inside stoop. He and I talk quite a bit. He's been to a couple of games. I've given him some of the pages of Book of TB. For Folda Gap, I talked to him about running the software.
Yeah, his XOs are all running Warlord.
Right. So they're running the Warlord app. Now, that's let me get back to that real quick. So the two apps that there is the client server-based game, which is what's powered by Ronin. So whether that's a Ronin run game or whether that's somebody like Josh Nutt running Millionth Monkey games, it's powered by Ronin. It's his game. It's his flavor. The game run his way, his rules. Our software just fills in where he wants it to.
Okay, and that's the RTT app, right?
No. RTT is
that's going to be Scenario Engine.
Okay. Right. Oh, we talked. Okay, Scenario Engine. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So the client
RTT is just a game format that
inside the client
Scenario Engine features.
Right. Okay. Right. The way to look at it, like I said, is a client server. You've got client server where the game is run by a server, and your client that the individual players has connects to. Warlord is all of the organization.
I'm the engineer here. That's the Warlord. Everybody connects for the client server model, but Warlord is a team-based sharing app. Correct. If it's going to be RTT or Pirate Game or Scenario Engine, you are playing an actual game.
So this somebody is Warlord, set up, right?
That is Warlord. Yes, you're right. That's sweet. That's push the talk button.
Warlord is designed. So let's say you go to.
You can go anywhere. It's designed for. It's our spear. If I want to have somebody butchered on a scenario field, I'm going to equip 200 people with Warlord and just launch them at them because they're going to have that tracking and all the communications.
So what you're saying is the rest of my team needs Warlord login.
I told you can just ask me for logins. We'll get all hooked up.
Okay, all right.
So I like it.
Warlord. Here's the big difference. Yeah. So Warlord
is standalone, very standalone.
The other software, there is a device that pushes the gameplay to you. Yeah. Whereas in Warlord is dependent now upon you. And what I mean by that is a mission.
You could use Warlord, right? Look, I'll go into my backyard and I'll go post up on my kid's playground, and you can use Warlord to try and storm my position. You probably won't make it, but it'll be fun.
Right, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So Warlord. So with the Book of
that's TV, RTT.
Right.
That's an actual game you play. That's a very territory control oriented game. So when you see the stuff on that screen, those buildings represent what that place is right now. So originally it was a dot. You went to it, you captured it. You use money to take that empty space and turn it into a infantry building. Now that infantry building, you can take people on your side, and now I can upgrade you, Guru, you're a rocket launcher, and Grizz, you're a medic. Boom, go play. Okay. And then if that gets blown up, it gets blown up, but you're still your upgrades, and you keep your upgrades through the game.
Okay.
Right.
It's all automatic. RTT. There's just there's no referees involved or anything like that. RTT is a very shooty game upgrade. Okay,
let's roll back.
I get excited talking about my shit.
I understand.
I see.
So
Skynet's coming.
So Warlord is designed for if you go to Living Legends, that game is not connected to the app in any way.
Right.
The game is the game. He has his push sticks. He has his missions that go out. So what would the app be used for? Well, the app is used for force tracking.
I was about to say, I think I know. So I would have been a commander at Living Legends this year. So it would have been made for me to say, hey, I know where everybody that's in my legion is located. And if I want to talk to them, I hit the button. Hey, I can see where they are by looking at the map.
Correct.
And I can tell where we need to be.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's
you
simple.
could
Very
also do lots of other things of everywhere from let's say you go, okay, I need you to go left and take a picture of this and send it to me. That's not within the game. But let's say you need to know what's there, and the person's like, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Okay.
That's what's coming next.
Get on your phone.
That's the next patch.
Right. Get on your phone and live video with me. Turn your phone around. Let me see what's going on. That's what that's designed for. It will also allow you to track certain things from, let's say there are mission cards. Okay,
so
I've got a mission
you go
card.
to a Viper
I take
game
a picture of it, and then I send that mission card out.
Wait. Roll back on mission card. So if you go to a Viper game, you're standing at your base, the clock hits the hour. The referee's going to take a card out of a folder. He's going to hand it to the general. That's going to be your task. That task is set up so that an equal size forces run into each other somewhere on the field. So instead of me having to get that card to my general and me standing around and go, okay, do I have 8 guys? Well, let's call some more people and we're going to wait. And then we're going to give the card to a dude and he's going to walk it to where they have to go and they're going to try and do what they do. That's retarded. I know I'm not supposed to use that word, but that's retarded. And with this, you're going to, on the next patch, we've almost got most of the code done. You take a picture of the mission card and it goes to everybody on your side instantly.
Right.
And if you have a dude who's already there, he shows his phone to the referee signs it with their finger, it collects the digital signature and just sends that to the game producer and your mission's done.
Right. If the game producer allows it. But even if the game producer didn't, you get to send that mission out to everybody on your side and they get to preload. They don't have to wait for the card to get there. Even if it's just everybody go to this point. If I say, okay, the mission card's here, I can get on the map, circle the objective, hit a button, and send that out to everybody on my side.
And the first person there is almost always going to win.
Correct. Move here. That would be the general William Bradford Forrest with he who gets there with the mostest, the fastest wins. I mean, that's another Book of TB quote that I stole from somebody else. You know, you want to get there first, you want to have the most stuff, and you want to hold on to it as quickly as possible. So the Warlord app is designed for games that there is no server in the aspect of
it's not a Ronin game. It's not Ronin. It's not powered by Ronin. You can just show up somewhere and throw down on somebody hard.
Correct.
Because preferably they won't have it. You want to pick your target so they don't have it, and then you just want to jam that fucking spear into their chest.
You want to pick targets that have it. You want to beat the hell out of somebody that's just as good as you. That's how
I'm trying to pick the low-hanging fruit, Lawrence. I'm getting my easy wins. I'm padding my record like a YouTuber. So I want to have part of the field closed down so I can make my produced content and not get shot.
No, because you're
playing paintball wrong. You're never going to get views doing this playing the hard way.
I understand that, but you know what? I can also tell people I never beat on retards.
Well,
oh Jesus Christ! So wait,
people that I beat on.
Bruce is having a rough night.
No, people that
stuck here with us.
Look, I'm just going to tell you, I was diagnosed when I was 40. I never knew what was wrong with me, but I have Asperger's, so I have autism.
He can't help himself.
So I've made a joke. I'm very blunt.
The government taught him how to kill people. Think about that.
And you know, it's why I quit being a cop, because I knew that I didn't. I had a lot of the things that cops have, but what I didn't have was that ability to disconnect from it personally. You know what I'm saying? So even now, somebody says something, I got resting bitch face. I'm going to look at you like you're fucking stupid. I mean,
he can't help it.
That's
why he's the CEO.
But I get it though. I mean, I can understand that though, because again, like we have a dynamic like that with our team where it's like I'm the calm. I am the calm in our team. I'm the constant calm. I'm the one that keeps everybody at peace. I'm the one that
I'm the nice one.
The thing is though,
I'm the guy you can blame.
But the thing is though, once I'm not, it's a problem.
Right.
So
but
I'll be right back. I got a refill.
All right.
I'm the guy that my role was always the guy that you can blame. And what I mean by that is there'd be people on my side and they're like, why did you do that? They'd ask my teammate, why'd you do this? Hey, well, TB told me to.
Okay.
TB gave me the nod. TB gave me the wink. TB over here. So they could always use that. I didn't have any problem being the bad guy. I'm the sin eater. I'll take it. You shoot. I tell you to go shoot the little kid in the nuts. You go shoot the little kid in the nuts. TB told me to do it.
Understood.
You see what I'm saying? Because that allows my people to be a lot more freer on the field.
Yeah, I mean, if they got somebody, they can just say, "Hey, well, he told me to do it." I get that part. So, real quick. So, I see James is saying that Warlord is the virtual map of the field. You can track players. So, about communication as far as that goes, right? I know there's the push to talk aspect to it. How does that work as it relates to like people who, again, just thinking about the concern of people who don't want to bring their phone out, just risk that one risk, right? Of that guy, right? That one risk of does it work with like a regular earpiece?
No, you have to have the phone. But here's what I can tell you for the guy that didn't want to bring his phone. Did you buy a Baofeng? You got a Baofeng radio?
Yeah, I got a case full of them. Yeah.
Right. How much did they cost you? $30?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay. You can buy a $50 burner that does all of this.
True. I did say burner. I said it a couple times.
Yeah, we did. We talked. So about the burner?
And you can take your Baofeng radios and sell them. Or I mean, you can keep them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still have all of my radios simply because I would bring them to a game even if I had the phone, because what if it goes down? Right. If it goes down, I'm going to have a backup plan. So I'm not going to sell my radios. But imagine a Baofeng radio that tells you where you are on the field. Not only does it tell you where you are on the field, but it tells everybody else
where your people are. And that was one of the big things. When the earlier software came out, you had to go in there and you had to configure your own maps and you had to set up all kinds of shit. And it didn't catch on and everybody hated it. So my solution is you just connect
to Google Maps.
Well, no, we don't even use Google Maps. We use a different service. But my theory is you should just connect and everything just works.
Correct.
And that's how it is. When y'all log in to the Warlord or RTT or Pirate game, it just puts you in the right comms channel for everybody on your side. The other side can't hear you. It's secure. And that's all there is to it. There should be no configuration, and everything just has to work when you log in. And when we went through Firefly, the early apps were rough. We've made some massive improvements through 2020, and all of our sponsor testers are super happy with it all. So to circle back to wearables real quick, yeah, we talked a lot about the displays, and we talked a little bit about armbands, but what we ultimately, one of the things we want to replace is armband tape, and I want it to be wireless, and I want it to be RGB. So if you're a player out there and you've either got mall strips in your vest or you have an actual armband on that's wireless, and I hit an emergency stop on the field, somebody got injured.
Yeah.
Every flag station that's a tablet's going to go flashing red stop, because red means stop. Everybody armband tape on the entire field is going to start flashing red. So there can be no possible confusion about what that explosion meant, because normally stand downs are done with pyros and shit like that. And you can't get that message across the field.
Right. I mean, that's what happened with us. So Grizz, last year, I think it was the GI. I think GI. So he took a bad slip and his mask flew off. And the situation where the mask flew off, players went to run and jump on him. They didn't get there in time. Another guy coming up out the water put another one at him because he saw hoping to rush it, and he got shot like right underneath the eye. So it was like it's that type of situation. So I get it, right?
Yeah. Right. And so that's another thing we focus on, because when you use putting Warlord aside, which is just a killing tool, when you go to these actual app delivered games,
Warlord is designed to be an organizational tool. That's really all it is. It's the same thing as if you had 5 people if you had a guy sitting in it, and you may have seen this or not, but there have been games even that I've run when I generaled like a 1,500 player game. I had a command staff. I had like 5 people sitting in a command tent. I had one guy doing nothing but looking at a map and moving people around.
I did 500 players on my side, and I sucked at it, and everything went bad, which is why I build tools now.
Right. But the point is everybody, what it does is it takes all of that and puts it into your pocket to where, as a commander, you have more data that you can use, and allows you to make decisions. We're
going to double on that, because let's branch out a little bit, because we talked about wearables coming up, armband tape. We talked about the flag stations a little bit. We talked about the wearable displays, which are kind of my favorite thing right now.
Show them the remote.
Oh, I showed them. We didn't do that on camera, did we? Where the hell did I put this thing? So people are like, a big thing is I never want to take my phone out on field, and I understand, because I play my own games with a Galaxy S10, and when I had to medic 2 versus 15, and we got trapped in a tower, I got nervous. I ain't gonna lie. I was nervous about my phone, but it survived. But I wasn't a happy camper. So this is a $10 Ring controller for Amazon. Those 4 buttons. We haven't even started on the joystick yet, but just the 4 buttons, and there's 2 more of them, control your HUD display. They do push to talk, and they have ping. So if anybody's ever played Apex Legends, Fortnite, you got a ping for people on your team. You go ping. Everybody sees the ping, and you know what to look at. Guess what? Ping. Done. Right. Everybody in your team gets that instant notification.
So does it ping your current location, or like it'll ping your current location, right?
Whichever. You basically use the joystick to control the HUD, to control the app inside of it.
Yeah. You can move a dot around to set a rally point if you're messing with your phone, but if you just need an emergency, everybody ping me right now, press 1 button and you're done. That pings it.
Okay, and then
like, oh shit.
And I think when you stepped away for a second, I asked TV this question. So you said that button does push to talk, but the push to talk, you got to have your phone out to respond to, right? Like it doesn't have like the
no. Most people we use Bluetooth headsets and mics.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. Yeah,
I misunderstood. I thought you meant if you didn't have the app, could you do it? No.
I meant like if I have a headset with a button, could I have that button be my push?
You can be out there with your Drake Beats or your fucking Ray J's.
Okay.
Within the last,
any Bluetooth you want to use, it will sync up and use.
Yeah, we've been working for the last year. One of the big focuses has been on eliminating the need to take out your phone, because I know that's a concern for people.
Yeah, that's a big concern. Just like a person like myself, I got a S20 Ultra. That's a big, that's a big.
Of course it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the easy answer is use a cheap burner, but not every cheap burner has awesome AR performance or stuff like that. So we're also working on wireless cameras. So eventually, probably we were 80% of the way there now with our wireless accessories. By the end of the year, you'll have a IoT camera that you can mount on a rail. You'll never have to take out your phone. Or we'll have my more controversial idea, which is where we'll make our own chest boxes, and we'll have your booby cam, where your camera just peeks out of your chest box.
Gotcha.
And you can interface through your HUD and your buttons.
We're not building body cam.
Why are you holding your hand over your face, Chris? You're not ready.
Yeah.
The original name for it. Well, I can't say it. My kid's in the room. I had a more horrible name for it, but it's a booby cam.
No.
Yeah, let's not.
So my wife brought up a question. She brought it up before we did the show also too. She wanted to know about using smartwatches.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're wearing a smartwatch.
That's currently the best way to do it.
Oh. Okay. We can talk EVS Empire HUD.
Because I have one.
Right.
Okay. So the original, we'll dovetail a little bit. The original Empire EVS goggle was Recon Instruments Snow. Yeah, it was a HUD. It's a cool HUD if you have it set up right, not for paintball. That's the problem.
They gutted it when they brought it over to the paintball.
They didn't gutted it. They replaced the software with paintball software that doesn't do anything useful.
Yeah, but the usefulness would have come from the ski software. That's the
that's the problem. Yeah, so it was a thing designed for skiing that goes in your goggle called from Recon Instruments, and Recon Instruments was kind of this angel investors pump up and sell to Intel. Then they stopped supporting all the products, so we can't make anything for it. But if you have the paintball version and you can somehow flash it to the snowboarding version, it will display app notifications.
Right.
And all of our apps display app notifications. Which is where
your smartwatch comes in. So your smartwatch
notifications will show up on watches.
Go to this location, or it'll tell you you've got a message or you've got a mission. So what they did, and we already did that. We did that in May. Several individuals on my team that were logged in, they would get notifications to their phone, and they would look at it and respond to that. And if they had to take their phone out, then they would move around somewhere, pull their phone out, do what they needed. But they used the smartwatch basically as a way to
as their display. That was the first wireless displays.
Right.
Okay, so here's my thoughts. All right, so I'm hearing all this, right? So I'm thinking like, so a field, right? Say they want to do a game, and let's say that they invest in tablets, right? Android tablets, like cheaper Android tablets, and
$30 tablets. You don't even have a tablet. Actually, you could do it with burner phones.
Well, I was saying
the tablet size has nothing to do with what it does. You just need a device that talks and runs the app. That's
right. Okay. And what are we talking? Are we talking cellular data? Right. We're talking cellular data.
It doesn't matter. You can use cellular data. You can use a distributed Wi-Fi mesh.
The options. We looked at that. That we looked at cell phone towers and boxes. We looked at Wi-Fi.
Well, I'm just going to leave it at that. If you can afford the fancy scoreboard shit from PB Results, which looks awesome and makes a very sport-centric approach to paintball and having a field, then you could afford like 10 Wi-Fi meshes.
Right. And what I'm thinking, like, so again, they have it. They say, okay, well, you put it on the game, or even if it's a producer, right? The producer has this in their stockpile. They say, okay, I have 10 tablets, 10 burner phones, and I'm only going to, these are the ones I'm okay with you running around in the field pointing that stuff, right? Because again, part of your tech is to have something that's AR, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Right. So,
well, if you're wanting,
right,
to use the full scope of the game, yes,
you have to use the phone,
because that is how, well, you use the AR because that is how you, as a producer, control who does what. Well, that's because every time you scan something in, the server looks at who did it, what their GPS coordinates are, and where's the location of the
for context. Kind of the opposite of that is something simple like a take and hold mission, and that's I don't need anybody to ever take out their phone or use any AR. Right. I just need to see their connected GPS tracks. And
and my point in saying that was for folks that are kind of like for game producers that might somehow find this podcast and watch it. It's more so of you can still have that engineer guy. You can still have that designated role person. And so everybody that has an app and that's always, logged in, they don't have to be just random person running do it. You can still have that designated person that does it based on this device that you give them, that you're, you know what I'm saying? So the player who doesn't want to go around with their phone out.
Here's the reason why. You get the part of the value of what we bring, even for Warlord, is for long-term tracking. So I told you all of my stats. How many people know how many games they played if they were on the winning side? Not even as a commander. I've played 212. I've won 183. Why do I keep those stats? Because they're important to me.
Right.
How many? I know a lot of demo players.
I lost so many games.
They like to track how many tanks they've killed. Medic people like to track how many people they've medicked. Engineers would like to track how many things they've rebuilt.
Okay, and what you're saying,
now, if you had a guy who was handing out a phone to just random different people,
it eliminates the stat tracking.
Well,
it eliminates the stat tracking. It violates the EULA too, because we don't allow multiple people to share a login.
Understood. Correct.
Okay.
So
that is again because of the federal government. So you got to look at any app
on data collection. That's a big privacy is a big problem.
You've got the privacy collection that's required by the government. That's why we catch
because we are sharing location, so you can't you can't agree to a EULA on an account and then give it to somebody else because they didn't agree to the EULA.
Okay, so for situations like what I'm thinking about, would that fall into where you say like you build up this building and then you can buy a person's role and then that person's login and then that person said, okay, well,
no, you as a commander you would say I want this person to be an engineer and I buy it. This person's upgraded to an engineer inside of the software.
Okay.
So that person's then
it's pretty simple,
and then it tracks them and what they
as an engineer.
As we develop it more, you'll be able to revoke it and do different things. But it's just feature that stuff is just feature development over time.
Right, and all of that. The whole purpose is that you want to create a way to record what you do on the field in the game.
Right. Because we can get to that. So we talked about the platform from a producer standpoint. Like if you want to log in, turnkey business, you're ready to go. But kind of what does it do for the player?
Right.
So for the player, you're not just looking at the net. I can always point at my monitor. I can't help it. You're not really looking at the Netflix screen of the players. You're going to hit the other tab that says stats. That's all of your long-term performance in paintball. That's a replay of every game you ever played. That's done through the system. And that's why you have to have the individual tracking.
Yeah,
now, I showed you that video.
Let's say I ran a field that you've never been at before, and you want to know who the best medics are.
Well, no, Lawrence, we don't even have to do that. I ran Guru through the video. We watched the time-lapse video of Glazen shooting Bryant at LCP. You could see the dots move through the field and track it. And you're just not going to get that with sharing accounts because you don't know who the hell that person is.
Right. But that makes sense. I get that now. That makes perfect sense.
But for people, so you play Call of Duty, right?
Now, if you wanted to hand somebody a phone and they use a different login on that same device, I don't care.
Right.
The system doesn't care because that own login has its own EULA and stuff signed, and that's a person using their account.
But you said you're a gamer, so you've played Call of Duty and you know what achievements are.
Right.
Yeah.
This is how you unlock achievements. We actually have achievements in the game.
Well, I think I can just sum it up. It's like this. You can use my computer to game all you want, but you're going to have to play under your own Steam account to get your achievements.
Right. Well, no, and that's where I was going to get to eventually. Like, yeah, so the producer just said, hey, this is my engineer tablet, right? Because it has to have the AR to see.
Right. So that player would need to log in as himself on the tablet.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
That's it.
Right. Exactly.
But I mean, the truth is, if a producer came to us and said, I don't want people to have to use their phones, I want to give them phones. Yes, we could make that work. If that's what that
well, at our last game at LCP, I must have handed out 5 burners. Right. I had so many burners in my pocket, I was just handing them out to people. Here, play.
But as a player, you won't be able to capture anything you did because it won't be attached to your account. And
you got to be logged in.
Also, got to realize that part of what our goal is to move to a platform where you as a player can stream with other people live.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
We talked about that. Because a lot of our gameplay is that too. A lot of our gameplay, like our gameplay footage, if you ever watch one of our YouTube videos, it's of us in action, right? I mean, again, we suck at paintball. I'm the first one to tell you that, right? I specifically suck at paintball. But my gameplay,
go to some tournament practices and you'll get a lot better fast.
Well, my gameplay is just me shooting. I mean, I'm a knucklehead. I make a lot of jokes, but all my gameplay is going to be of me shooting. Like I'm not going to put it out of me kind of
well, maybe because eventually it may get to a point where you want people to see if you're at a command level.
Well, here's the thing.
You
can get so good at scenario, you can get so good at these games, you never shoot a paintball.
Well, what I'm saying is if I wore a camera at a paintball game, you would see very little of me shooting. However, you would know exactly what's going on in the game because you would see me constantly talking to people, constantly seeing what's going on, figuring things out. And it would be hard for you to follow unless you knew the field and knew me and knew all the players. That's kind of the problem is all people see is people shooting each other. They don't see the story. They don't see the movements. They don't see the rewards. All they see is people hiding on a bunker shooting each other. When people go out, that's it.
We talked about this too. Let me peel back the curtain real quick. At some of the big games people go to, I'm sure y'all have your favorite YouTubers and stuff. We happen to know all of the best head refs in the nation. And what really happens for a lot of this footage is the referees close off the field, kick off the actual players. The YouTuber films their produced content, and then they reopen that field and the actual game goes on. And that's the kind of stuff that makes YouTube.
Right.
So we're trying to shift everybody to Twitch, real-time content, farm those subscriptions.
Well, just imagine this. Let's say you're going to go drop a base, and the biggest part of Twitch is about being entertaining. That's what I try to tell people.
Farm those tips.
If it's entertaining, that's what people are going to watch. They're not, again, like I try to explain to people when they're like, well, if I can just get you to the field and you shoot a paintball gun, you're going to love it. That's stupid. That's not how it works.
We can go more controversial. Children are not the future of paintball.
No, that's a different.
We'll do that later.
Don't go down.
We'll do that later.
No, trust me, I believe it. And my daughter plays. So again, but there's a reason, and it's all data driven. But regardless, the point is, you want to have that. And I lost my train of thought again. Damn it, Alan! You're killing me. What were we talking about?
You said Twitch is about it.
Twitch is the future, bro.
The thing is with Twitch is if you've watched a lot of people like Dr. Dirty and all these other people, they may not even be that good, but they're very entertaining. They're telling the story. They're, hey, watch this. And you get to a point where people are like, hey, I need 50. You want to see me do something stupid, crazy? I need $50. And people donate money constantly because it's all about what you're doing. So imagine you're about ready to drop a base and you're like, hey, you want to see me drop this base and run in and pull my pants down and moon the general? I need $50. And the next thing you know, that'll go viral.
Because it's live. Gotcha.
Right. And it's real, and it's, you know what I'm saying? You'll have other people that tell stories. How many times have you watched some of the major airsoft, and airsoft is significantly better than paintball on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have done those stats.
They get more hits. It can't be a gun thing. We figured this out. It's not a gun thing.
Right.
It's not an air thing because their guns are way more replica than even the really good mag-fed guns.
Correct.
So if YouTube is demonetizing guns, then airsoft wouldn't exist. But we're watching airsoft videos get 2 to 3 million views, where guys that used to get 100, 200,000 views have just collapsed in paintball. and the algorithm is murdered.
You got to realize what the algorithm is. It's not just demonetized. If you get that negative strike, they don't put your video in the algorithm, even when you search. You know what I'm saying? It's completely deranked. It's not just demonetized; it's deranked.
All right, well, that's good to know. That's good to know for us.
And Airsoft is significantly larger in views, and it's because of how they use the cameras. You know what I'm saying? They don't just use it to shoot people. To be honest, the most watched thing is cheaters. It's funny.
Oh yeah. By a long shot.
Why the human race has this infatuation with
catching people cheating.
Bad shit, but catching people cheating is the #1 video.
Truth.
Style.
There's so much truth behind that.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I sit here, I watch 60 Days In and live PD while I'm working it from home. So I get it. It's a weird voyeurism when people get caught doing shit they're not supposed to be doing.
So to that note, how are we catching, let's say, the paint? We talked about the producing side of it.
Let's do penalty systems, because I can do penalty systems for like 20 minutes. I'm probably gonna have to bail out of here soon. I got like 20, 30 minutes. It's my kid's birthday. It's my anniversary tomorrow.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. Yeah, okay. How do you catch a player? How do you catch a player?
Okay, so traditionally, your referee just does it. Right. So, but the difference is, like, if you went to 4 Viper games and then you went to a Living Legends and then you went to a Super game. Now, you got 3 penalties at the first one, 2 at the second one, and none at the third. But how did they even know they should be looking at you at the third? Because you're a motherfucker that racks up so many penalties. They don't, because there's no data transfer between any producers at all whatsoever.
Okay.
Everything is simply opinion based. So once we log your penalty, we logged your penalty to your player account for the lifetime of your account on the Ronin platform.
Right.
Now that we have the thing is,
so here you go, real quick.
He's doing all his stupid badges.
No, that's a player card. Now, what I want you to see is on the player card,
the punches, right?
Where it says Judge 1-2.
Yeah.
So if this was judge punched, how would you ever know? Is the thing, because right now the judge punches are very one-on-one.
It's just on the spot. Look, game producers don't even know that somebody on their field got judge punched for something unless that referee happened to bother to tell them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I'm absolutely not putting that on the game producer, right? It's
nobody's fault. It's the nature of the beast.
How it's done.
Right.
Yeah. There's no way around it.
The difference is we write everything down.
Right.
In a database.
And track it
over the lifetime of it. Okay. So if you, at all these producers, got all these judge punches, the next producer that you register for is going to see that and be like, that dude doesn't need to show up at my game.
Or not necessarily.
Just watch him.
Right. It may be one of these instances where you bring him in and go, look.
Just watch him.
I've noticed that you've gotten, 3 hot guns, two judge punches for cussing out people, and another judge punch for almost getting into a fight. We don't tolerate any of that on my field. If you get a judge punch here, you're ejected.
Yeah.
Like I try to explain to a lot of people that ask me all these questions about cheating and all that. My first response to you is going to be, don't do it.
Well, I mean,
if you don't do it, you don't have to worry about
that is the thing. And this is why anti-cheat works, because most people are never going to cheat or are not going to cheat most of the time.
Correct.
So you're going to have like 95, 98, 99.9 even % good data of people that go out, get shot, and go back to their base. And the more GPS tracks you have it. And the neural nets, the Google AI, IBM Watson that we also use, because we use 2 AI stacks right now, and I'm probably going to use a 3rd, because training AI models has become a hobby. So the more data we throw at it, the more it can recognize in real time if somebody didn't walk back to base all the way. Correct. And that doesn't mean they're cheating. So because somebody didn't walk back to base, maybe they lost a pod.
Right, exactly. They just lost.
Right, but either way, it sends a referee to go over to help them, and now you have better customer service.
Or even if the ref can't get over there, it flags it and looks at the long-term data. Yeah. Over a period of time.
Why did this guy not walk back to his own base 18 times in a row? Maybe he had a role where he only needed to drop back a little bit, or maybe he's a dirty fucking cheater. But either way, now we know what to look for.
But right? But the data is there to at least mine through and see and make a determination from.
Correct.
Right, and with no platform and no apps, nobody has any data at all to work on, and you get what you get.
Correct. But you also have to understand that this is going to move forward as people start doing it and using it, and it adopts. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've been in paintball 20 years. This probably will not live in huge numbers in paintball. because the way the industry has always been.
You're going to do it. I'll be right back.
The industry's always been very cutthroat, and even now, it was even more cutthroat back then. And there's lots of people that have their own ways. This was probably going to wind up living really more in airsoft and laser tag than at paintball fields until it builds its own little culture. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole gig. But the truth is, you can jump platforms. So you can take all your stats in paintball, and if you play a Ronin game in paintball and you go to airsoft and it's a Ronin powered game, you're going to have that shared similarity to move. And you're gonna get your stats. So if you were to show up, let's say I've got 3 companies here in Austin. I'm in Austin, Texas, that are indoor laser tag fields. They're ready for the software now. So if you go and play laser tag, it rolls up into your stats. You see what I'm saying? So as a player, anything that you do that's kinetic tag based running with Ronin, you'll be able to track whatever. As the tech moves forward and you start seeing people wearing their forward GoPros, like I've got a GoPro that I can wear on my helmet that connects to my phone that streams. The GoPros are good enough now, it can do AR. So I don't have to take my phone out. So once I've got that, we've actually termed the phrase, what's it called? Augmented sensor.
The sensor fusion.
Correct. Where utilizing the camera and the microphone, it can see that you're shooting. It can see you shooting somebody. It can use GPS to figure out where that person is.
Damn it.
It can say that person's shot. When that person puts their hand up and starts to walk away, the computer will be able to flag them. You see,
Lawrence, I should have worn my black turtleneck for this for people to take me more seriously, but this is going to sound retarded. But if you can, everybody here knows how to recognize that you shot somebody out and they walk away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can train neural net to figure out the same thing.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So, once it sees that, it will say, okay, you've been shot, you've been eliminated, you should walk off. If it doesn't see you walk off, it flags you, and it either sends a ref to you or it tells the game producer, hey, this guy was shot and he didn't walk off. Well, now using voice over IP, click, hey, player, I just noticed that you got shot and you didn't walk all the way back to base. Can you come see me, please? Click.
And that, and again, so that's what I'm saying. Like this to me is like, I'm just a tech guy, right? I just love it. I think it's all. I mean, people not gonna like it. I get it, but I think it's neat. I personally feel like I would run with it. Like I think
it might be the 3 beers talking, but you know who's not gonna like it? Cheaters. They're probably cheaters.
Okay.
No, cheaters are gonna hate it. I mean, the other people that I can already tell you that are gonna hate it because I've already got down this rabbit hole with them is people that like to play what's termed now as the gray area.
Well, we had referees plotting on us that have never played any of the. They have never used any of the apps. They're not invited to any of the betas. But they were trying to figure out like a dozen different ways, and some of these ways involved an actual strong arm robbery. Like I'm going to go up and I'm going to rob some fool of his cell phone, and then I'm going to take his phone so he can't have it. It's like
if I go up to somebody and say, "Hey, give me your phone," and they give me their phone, can I do that? No, no, you can't.
We had people like, "Oh, I'm going to take my phone to a drone and I'm going to fly the drone to the objective instead of run the mission."
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
can I do that? No, you can't.
But
we had one. We're going to put all of our phones in a pile and just leave them on the field so it holds this objective for us.
All right, can we do that? No. All right, so I'm going to give and you guys both seem like you're very smart guys, and here's what I'm going to tell you.
Seem like it almost.
No, I'm just going to say this is the answer to the question, and this is actually the answer to a lot of life. If A and B, then C.
Yeah, it's all Boolean math. All the software is just built entirely out of simple Boolean math.
But that
people are thinking about it way too hard. They're trying to like maximize their points, but without doing anything.
You have to have a player and a phone to be a live player, and the phone has to be in your possession. So
that was our term, Lawrence. Sensor fused analytics.
There you go.
That's my fancy
term.
So
you have to have a player and a phone to be able to play the game.
Right.
If you can't get around being a player and having a phone,
then you can't.
Then you already have your answer.
Right.
So can I put a phone on a drone? No, because the drone's not a player, not a person. And if you're the person, you don't have a phone.
We've had things go to the extent where I actually have to. My favorite thing to explain in orientations is that if it's an actual federal or state crime, I don't have to make a rule that says you can't do it.
Right.
Gotcha.
Because we've had people come up with all kinds of crazy shit, and it's this monstrous litany of felonies.
Yeah. Can I send people dick pics on the field?
What? What?
No, you can't send people dick pics on the field. Why would you?
That's another thing we discovered. A lot of people that bring their kids. Okay, there's now. When I started playing, there wasn't nearly as many people that brought their children, but those people age and they all have kids now. So we have a conundrum. We don't accommodate 10 to 12-year-olds in the field. They're 0.1% of the actual gaming population.
It's not just that. So listen, regardless of whether we wanted kids or not, you have to be 13 to be able to have your phone tracked.
COPA laws, COPPA,
that's the federal government. I got no control over it. Right. There's nothing I can do. And here's the thing. I've had people go, well, what if I log in and I give it to my kid?
But then that's another law that you're breaking, though. That's
right. And now, if you did that, did that and didn't tell me, that would have been one thing. But now you've told me.
Right. So I have to. I mean, by law, I got to tell you, no. That's no.
Right.
Well, we have some people that's like, I can't give this phone to my kid. My kid's going to stop playing the game and immediately start sending dick pics to girls.
Yeah. I had somebody tell me. Yep. Our kid doesn't have a phone.
So anybody with kids coming up and starting to get technology understands the dangers. But the thing is,
you're on a
with Google Family, when
you're on Paintball.
Well, that was part of my problem. Is Google Family Play? You can disable everything but our game app, so it's not an issue. So none of that was never an issue to begin with. But I'm like, how shitty are the games you're playing that your kid is so uninterested in the paintball that he's literally going to stop shooting at somebody to take a picture of his dick and send it to somebody?
Yeah, no.
And who's he going to send it to?
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a phone, how's he going to talk to it? Because we had one go, well, he's going to start sexting girls, and it's like, what girls is he going to be sexting?
I mean, but at its core though, like they don't need to have a phone. Like that's just at its core.
Yeah.
They just don't need, I mean, because all of this we're talking about, right? That still doesn't mean that kid can't go and shoot a face without the app.
Right.
Yeah, we just stick double tape on them.
Right. They can come and play the game.
Exactly.
Here's the deal. I'll be honest with you guys. When we first started, my whole goal in working with kids was I wanted to be able to put 10 to 12-year-olds in their own part of the field where they could do scenario and there not be any adults.
That way they can have fun, and you don't have this.
And not just that, they learn to play the big boy game.
Right.
And they'll be better than the adults. They'll be so much better.
Right. Without the adults having to cater down.
Like, you ever been teabagged by like a 14-year-old in Fortnite? They'll do that to you on the paintball field as soon as they learn the game well.
That's the thing. The 10, 11, and 12-year-olds are playing their own game. You bring them to the event, they're on, let's say, 3 speedball fields that's been put to a mini scenario, and they're playing a scenario that feeds into the big scenario, meaning their points come into you.
Right. And see, we have 3
and
young
you can talk to them as a general. You can say, okay, hey, little man, you need to move right or you need to move left, but you're not on the field with them. Right. They've got to figure that out on their own. And they have medics and demos and engineers, and they have the same missions. But
we're never going to get there.
But nobody has to give it to them. You know what I'm saying? They learn on their own with their peers. Once they were to roll over at 13 into the big scenario, they got 3 years of experience playing the game. So you don't need to tell them shit. They already know how things to run. They already know how
the reality. Back to that, kids are not the future. The unsung reality of paintball demographics is that it's really it's like a 20 to 35-year-old game, usually middle to upper class income, lots of IT people, engineers, a lot of higher end blue collar trades, welders, stuff like that.
Welders,
that's generally that's the income that plays paintball. It's generally not a second generation thing. There's some out there. They're out there, but it's not like
we've looked at the data, and it runs basically 20 to 30. They dip out from 30 to 40, and at like 41, 42, they come back.
So that's who we focus on.
And if you think about it, that is the lifespan of most adults with children. If you have a child when you're 18, by the time you hit 30, that child's 10, 11 years old. What do children do?
That's one of our biggest adoption blocks. Dudes want to come play, but they have to bring their kids so it's not a weekend with the boys.
Right.
Well, that's
very fair. That's completely fair.
To a point where it's like my kid wants to play t-ball, I can either play paintball or my kid can play t-ball. I'm going to give up and my kid's going to play T-ball.
And see, that's the thing. See, that runs right along with me because again, I'm very active with my daughters. I got 3 kids. I got 2 daughters and a son. My son's 2 years old, right? My oldest daughter is 12. My second daughter is 8, right? So
we're like 6 and 8 over here.
Right, they consume me through the summer, right? I help coach a baseball team. I'm on a board for the baseball team. I coach my daughter's basketball team. So what you're saying makes perfect sense. Once it comes time for paintball, it's like all the games that we schedule is literally scheduled, unfortunately, around what I got to do.
Correct.
Because if I can't make, I mean, they can go without me, but I can't make it. Like if I can't make, I'm not going. Like I'm not missing them to go to this.
Right, and that's the other thing. You know, if it comes down to go play a paintball game or go see my daughter graduate, fuck you. I'm going to watch my daughter graduate.
Exactly. And that's
and I love me some paintball, but you know, it is what it is.
Right. And
if my daughter needs a new glove and a new fucking pair of cleats,
that's 2 cases.
There goes my paint budget.
Right, exactly. That's 2 cases I can't afford this weekend. So no, I'm just go ahead and deal with her. You know, I'm not deal with her, but you know, I'm gonna go ahead and invest in her.
Do what you got to do. Be a responsible parent.
Right.
But then ultimately, once those kids get grown or they get to a point where they don't want to do sports or whatever it is, now you can come back to paintball because you've got that free income and that free time. So that's really why the demographic splits the way it does. But none of the kids these days are the kids in the 2000s where mom and dad weren't there, and mom and dad bought them $5,000 worth of equipment because mom and dad wasn't there, and they were basically placating kids. Now these are parents bringing their kids so they can play paintball, and that's why you see these
without getting in trouble when you
kids. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, again, the data tracks it, but the point is, the people who have the money, the people that drive the industry, are people that are 20 to 30 because they're young, they've got jobs, they don't have any income, really. You know, whether they're staying at home or not, they've got that free income as long as they play paintball.
And that's who we aim for.
The guys that come back at 40 and they've been out of it. They want to come back. They remember how it was. The kids are grown. Some people bring their kids back. My daughter started playing when she was 10. She still plays. She's 26. Right. I mean, she doesn't play a lot because she likes to play with me and I don't play as much.
Right.
But I understand for her, it was never paintball. For her, it was playing with dad.
Right, and that's what a lot of, like I said, we got 3 young guns on our team, and like they're phenomenal. But like I said, if my daughter ever decides to come out there, it's strictly gonna be to come play with her dad. It's not gonna be, you know, my son more so. I think I think he's gonna probably be more so of I'm playing because I like it, just because he's gonna grow up with me playing. You know, so it's a little different experience for him. But yeah, like you said, to my daughters, if they ever play with me, it's gonna just be because daddy played, and I want to go play with dad.
Right. Well, I mean, G2 played against me. I mean, I didn't let G2 wasn't on my team until she turned 18, because we had a rule you had to be 18 to be on the team. The rule was if we go drinking or we go to a strip club, you got to be able to do that. I got to be able to cuss and your mom and dad not get mad because you're 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? People get funny about your kids. I mean, my daughter will tell you, people say fuck in front of her and I'm sorry. And they're like, my dad says far worse. You're good. I mean, my daughter learned quick that way. But my daughter also played the game without me I didn't babysit my daughter at all. I told her, you keep up. I'm not going to you know what you're getting into. You know what I do when I come to the game. You want to be a part of it. I'm going to treat you
I'll be done shortly.
Which is you got to keep up with us.
Yeah, I'll be done in a couple minutes.
And so she played with these guys and wanted to be on Thunderstruck, but you couldn't. Originally, you had to be 21. And the team got together and utilizing our bylaws, they lowered the age to 18 and brought her on. I voted against it.
Okay.
Not because of my daughter, but because as the president or the vice president, I understood why we put the rule in place. And I didn't want an exemption even for my daughter.
Gotcha.
But the team did it. So I abstained from the vote and I voted against the whole lowering the age. Not because I didn't want my daughter on my team. I'm ecstatic that she did it, but she earned it, is my point. It didn't have nothing to do with me. It was everything done on her own volition, to where 15 people said she needs to be on our team. She's been running with us since she was 10. She can hold her own. She's 18. She's an adult. We want to lower the age. And they outvoted me and lowered the age, and then they brought her on the team. And so to me, I want other parents to be able to do that with their children if that's what they so want to do.
That option, right? Okay, and I know we're about to lose Alan here real quick. I got 2 questions I want to ask you guys here real quick.
Well, I don't have to go anywhere. Alan,
I know Alan got to go. The question I want to ask, because I'm overall, we're going to kind of wind all this together eventually at the end and kind of do a full. So the question I got to ask you guys is, what was your first marker?
An original Spider. God, the era where you put an expansion tank on it and you had like a big 20-ounce CO2 tank. You had a big expansion tank coming down. That got replaced with a War Games reg and a big 16-inch All-American Smart Parts barrel. And a Revy that used the shredder with the 18-volt.
Okay, and what about you, TV? What's your first marker? Hold on, Alan, do you still have it or no?
Oh, no. I have a Budor handmade auto cocker. It's been through like 80 cases. It hasn't had to been adjusted since the 90s. It's a piece of art.
Okay.
I could go out and I could kill somebody with it. I could just beat him to death, and that gun will shoot another 2 cases.
Well, let's not.
Thing's a tank. Things are getting crazy in isolation. You never know what.
I understand. Trust me, I totally do. TV, what about you? What's your first marker?
You're probably not even going to know it, but it was a brass eagle.
I know the brand.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely the brand.
Now, granted, I started playing in 1999, so I'm not one of these guys that played in the early. Alan actually started playing paintball before me.
Oh yeah,
but I played so
much more paintball than
I played more games than all of them because in those time I just traveled a lot. But so I started with a brass eagle tracer is what I think it was.
Okay,
and I carried that for about 3 games, and then I bought a autococker. So that was kind of my first real gun that I used was an autococker until we were sponsored by Airgun Designs, and then I ran around with a TAC 1 EMAG.
I mean, if you're going to do the paintball lifestyle thing and go to events and be like, and identify, because I kind of identify as a gamer. Lawrence identifies as a scenario player, but there's a lot of people that I identify as specifically, I play paintball. I live a paintball lifestyle. If you're going to live that paintball lifestyle, everybody has to own at least one autococker.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Okay.
I don't still have my, I sold, the only gun that I still have is my shocker. I've got a shocker. I got a custom shocker and then a custom SP1.
I put 2 O-rings in that War Games reg. My thing will air up right now, and I'll go shoot people.
And then I've got my Tiberius pistol that I carry. I've got 2 of them.
Too much.
And then that's
too much
that's
shit.
It. Whatever. I wear a tack vest.
Oh, too much shit. It just causes breaks on the front. That's why I never wear a vest. So other scenario tip, you wear a back harness like a tournament player. If you want to get awesome at the paintball end, go play like a tournament player.
I don't need
no fucking vest. Harness in the back. It's tucked in. You have nothing hanging out for paint to clip on.
Why do I
turn into your bunker the correct way?
Why do I wear a vest?
Because you carry a lot of shit.
Not just that.
It's got your name and shit on it.
Because I get shot a lot.
That too.
And you know what a vest does? It stops it from hurting.
It hurts less.
There you go. There you go.
So,
I know how they gotta go
and drills.
I can give you another question or two if there's any more.
Yeah.
Mike,
fire away.
I mean, TB actually answered my question I was going to ask. Where do you see, the future tech and paintball going? He pretty much answered it.
Well,
I'm even saying it.
Part of why Alan and I kind of got, and it comes across to some people as disgust, and it kind of is because, well, I mean, up until 2009, we were involved in a lot of the games that people play now. So a lot of the way people play now.
It's the TMZ slogan. We love it. We just have a funny way of showing it.
Yeah.
Well, not just that. We were blamed for a lot of the problems in the game for the competitiveness. And so we kind of stepped away and, it was like, hey, if there wasn't all this competitiveness, stuff will grow. It's this.
It didn't grow. It shrunk.
Joy stuff. That's not it. The truth of the matter is competition forces growth. Steel sharpens steel. That's a fact of life. It's not PC. It's not happy, joy, but it's reality. And so that's what I've told people. They're like, well, what happens when somebody builds an app like yours? I hate to say it. You're going to make my dick hard. Because now I'm going to be driven. Now I'm going to be on the phone with Alan going, this app can do this. We can't fucking do that. We need to figure out a way to do this. It's a cool fucking idea. Let's do it. You see what I'm saying? Right now we're in front and it's going to take a bit for somebody to catch us. But
nobody wants to compete.
Right. But I want somebody to catch me. We need that competition to drive that. Right. And
at this pace, I'll have run out of shit to do within 2 years. I'll have completely overhauled the entire player paintball experience and created a land warrior system from scratch.
Right.
and fix every fundamental problem from not knowing what's going on to when you show up, to parking lot pimp generals that don't do anything, to bad distribution content, to mission hogs. Every social ill has a simple engineering solution. We've got them all mapped out. We've fixed most of them through the app. We've got very few more to go. But within a year or two, I'm going to run out of stuff to do, and people are going to have to make cool art with the tools that I've put out there. But I need somebody else to give me something to compete against to make something better.
And realistically, do you think it's gonna happen? Like, I mean, what do you think?
No, it's not gonna happen. Vulcan's not gonna put any money to it. Empire's not gonna put any money to it. I don't know enough about Mr. H to ever say they're not, but I don't see it happening.
Again, it just depends. It depends on.
You need one hell of an IT team. You need $1 million, $2 million a year IT team to do what we've done.
Well, no, I was thinking more so about, he said something about Airsoft. I mean, Airsoft and or laser tag. So I know there's
it's all the same companies. The Vulcan is paintball and Airsoft. It's the same thing. It's the same companies and the same people distributing the same shit.
They're not big in Airsoft.
GI is. GI is bigger anyway.
No, I was talking about like the iCombat system, right? So I don't know if you know about the iCombat system, right? So that's right. So if you kind of put yourself up against them and what they're doing, would that make you guys innovate more as well?
No, because we move beyond simple force tracking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, you gotta realize we tie back up to a community that tracks your stats.
Yeah.
I don't know when y'all got in, but if y'all were in during when Special Ops was around.
To sum it up, nobody has ever in the history of all of this taken a massive multiplayer approach. Correct. Everything is simple server based, maybe 12, 20 users tops. Well, nobody's ever organized events. Like so if somebody came out and made awesome software, they don't go out there and they don't make events to market it and get it into people's hands and show people how to do it. Right. So there's lots of cool software out there that you could turnkey right now and use for events, but it's all kind of a pain in the ass, is what it boils down to.
Right.
And it doesn't scale. So you can't do a super game on any of the Airsoft software. You're not going to get.
Here's the scale that Alan hasn't touched on.
Oh God, you're going to do the full global?
Correct.
Okay, go.
You can have mixed media games in various parts of the world, all going on at the same time, all virtually connected.
Okay, but if you want to do on that. So because right now, everybody knows it. A lot of games are trash, right? A lot of games have been pushed off. So, for instance, say 3 games end up being rescheduled on the same day. They can roll up. But they can roll up through Ronin software. They can roll up to that, and all the points count to one side.
Yeah, all 3 can be the same game at the same time. But let's take it a step further. Let's say you're Gino Postriobo and you own Vulcan, and you say, screw GI. I want to take a big chunk of their market share in the big event world. What you're going to do is you're going to go tap Ronin. You're going to get the platform. You're going to use Scenario Engine. You're going to run 100 different games over per quarter across the entire world. And all of those games are all going to count towards the same point totals and always going to keep running. And you'll have 30 or 40 games across the globe all happening on the same day. And they'll continually happen every weekend through the entire year. Right, and that's the scale of what we can already do right now with what we already have.
Right, because effectively each game will be generated by its own individuals, and
you don't need generals.
Well, you don't need generals.
Yeah,
the AI can run the game more.
Oh, that's just the thing, because you haven't seen enough games yet. Because I have negative biases galore in Scenario, so I've seen so many generals not know what they were doing when they were getting into it. They were just not good at it. I was not a good general. If you had to play for me, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I sucked. You were useless too, that fucking game. We're not going to get into that story. That's a whole podcast on that one.
Gotcha.
But
dude, I'm gonna tell you,
as long as I have a democratized group of people on a side that know how to play and are experienced, I don't need to give them a general because they're competent enough to take the information that the game gives them through the app and just do whatever needs to be done. Right. No video game you've ever played. You've never played Counter-Strike or any kind of team-based Call of Duty where one guy had to tell everybody what to do to get through a round of play.
Right. What I was just speaking in terms of still having be able to have someone, recruit and get that stuff going on.
Yeah, that always helps. It is part of the business model. That's part of the business model of recruiting and getting asses into seats, and that's probably always going to be there. But actually getting the content to the people, the people who put asses in seats are often.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, hold on.
The people that often you get to put asses in seats are often a hurdle to get your actual game content to those customers and generate repeat business.
Right. No, but what he's talking about is competing events. Yes.
Oh,
Competing events could be virtually the same event. So if you had a group of people at this field who either A, couldn't travel or wouldn't travel or whatever, yes, they could play a game. So let's say you had, let's call it Command and Conquer. That's fine. So you have, one side is the NOD, one side is the GDI. So let's use Sherwood Forest. At Sherwood Forest, they're playing a Command and Conquer game. They've got a GDI and a NOD field. Hell Survivor, they're playing Command and Conquer the same weekend. They've got a GDI and a NOD. The two GDIs are virtually one team.
Right.
Command and Conquer, bro. I got to get you new video games.
Whatever. They can work together. And what impacts on one field can impact the game on the other field. So virtually, you could work together.
Right.
And the GDI could win between those two fields.
Right. But
see what I'm saying?
Those fields are technically promoting and or running
their own game.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be on individual promoters to work out a linked event.
It takes away the need to cutthroat players to move them around. Because unfortunately, what's really happened is, we've got the numbers to prove this as well. There's only about 130,000 active paintball players in the United States.
No, North America.
North America, excuse me.
That's important. Mexico's a big market.
Yeah, well, Mexico's bigger than Canada. But
people in Ontario consume more paintball social media than any other people on the entire fucking planet, short of tech. Only Texans come in second in the United States.
Right. And even though there's 6 million people that pulled a trigger, there's only about 135,000 who actually
will do it more than once.
Identify as paintball players that you can market to. So because of that, promoters and fields have gotten into this thing where they're moving the same players around. Nobody's really bringing in new people to stay. So the burn rate is very, very bad. Any business, you got to beat the burn rate. So martial arts, I open a dojo. I know I've got to have at least 20 students paying X amount of dollars to keep the doors open.
Right.
Students,
every time. You got to
students are constantly going to be leaving, so I got to constantly be bringing somebody else back in.
Right.
That's the same thing here. You start playing paintball, you're at Hell Survivors. This is what you're going to learn. If you played Hell Survivors in one or two other fields, as you start traveling to play other fields, your relationship with Hell Survivors is going to dwindle. Because you're not there. It's nothing personal. It's just how business works. You're now out. Well, there's a lot of fields that get mad because now instead of giving me your money, you're taking your money and going other places.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So the politics comes in to where I've got to keep you at my field, or I've got a
smaller pool of people.
I don't like this producer. And so it's all about moving the same group of people.
Right.
What our goal with the software is to be able to bring in new people because it's attached to a video game, or it's very much like a video game.
Right. And we fundamentally fix all the problems you have as a first-time player.
Right. We duplicate a lot of video game psychology, video game business models, because they spend millions of dollars figuring out what people want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have millions of dollars.
Right.
So it's easier to sit, and I'm in Austin, I'm in IT. I know lots of people in video games and game theory. And so you sit and you start talking in Boolean algebra. If A and B, then C.
Yeah.
You have those conversations where you boil it all down and you figure out that you can maneuver them in between each one and give people an experience. Like the biggest thing right now that millennials love is escape rooms.
Escape rooms.
Yeah.
We have one on field at the Pirate game.
Yeah, and that when I heard about that, that's what kind of won me over, because I'm at tech as a personal thing. I'm 6-0 in escape room, so it's in my mind is I want to beat them. Anytime I want to find them, I want to beat them.
Now you know what they don't have in escape rooms? A leaderboard. Do you know what they want in escape rooms? A leaderboard.
A leaderboard.
Because yeah, me and Mike,
I want to be able to bring my team and see how quickly we can beat this puzzle.
Yeah, they're usually web-based for most of those places. Okay, so does anybody have anything more for me? I'm gonna
no,
2 hours. I'm gonna get out of here.
We're on for 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean we've been on for 2 hours. So yeah, we're gonna
and there's still plenty more, boys. I'm
right. Well, what we're gonna do is this: we're gonna let you. Hey, TB, stay in. We're gonna kill the live for everybody that's watching it. Alan, we're gonna let you go as well. TB,
let me thank my sponsors, BQ Warbirds. Gotta keep them flying. Special thanks to TB for showing up and doing this. Thank you to Mutant Paintball 313 Sherwood. We're going to be a pirate game. We're going to be there May 15th to 17th. We have permission from the governor. So if anybody tells you, oh, you shouldn't open up yet, I got fucking permission from the governor and the mayor of the goddamn town we're doing the game in. So we're going to have a game. Speculations anywhere from 50 to 350 players. There's kind of a wide range of opinions. So we're going to see. Hope to see y'all out there.
All right, no problem. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Later,
appreciate you coming on.
All right. Later, y'all. If anybody has any questions, just hit me up on Facebook, contact Ronin, or friend me. Later.
All right.
So, like I said, TB, stay in, man. Everybody that's watching, we want to appreciate everybody sticking with us. I think the person conversation was a great conversation. I think paintball and tech is needed. It's coming, and it should be around for quite some time.
Oh, yeah.
Personally,
what I hope that the ideas innovate with enough people that you see it come back. I mean, whether that's what I don't want to happen, and that's why we decided to be a game platform rather than a producer. Alan and I could come in and be a producer. We've done it. We've worked with the producers. But then what happens is people wind up having to choose playing my game or playing somebody else's game.
Right.
Whereas I would rather go, okay, Alan and I have all this knowledge of producing games. Why wouldn't we just teach people how to produce good games and give them the tools to do it? And then we can take pride from, oh, you played that game and you had a lot of fun? Cool. My software powered that game.
Right.
And because of that, it also allows us to put it at a price point. Y'all probably don't know this. It's kind of the secrets of production. Most producers get half of the entry and $20 to $30 a case of paint. That's why paint's $60. It isn't because of the field. The field gets their $40, but the producer is normally getting $10 to $15 or $20 per case of paint.
Okay. And
they're getting half the entry. Okay. So as a field owner, think about this. Okay, yeah, I can have a 300 player game, but the reality is I'm only getting paid for a 150 player game.
Yeah.
As a field owner, that kind of sucks for me.
Right, but you're saying your tech comes in and you might bring in from 300, might jump to 600 because the people that want to
probably. But even if it only brings in 300, it lowers your cost because you're paying me $10 a head and $5 a case of paint.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
And that's because of the software and the way that the software runs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and officially close out, but
stay in. Yeah, don't drop out.
Thank you everybody for joining us. Join us next week. I don't know. I might start up an episode tomorrow because why not?
Why not? Exactly.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. We'll catch up with y'all.